You're about to watch another exciting episode of the Dungeon Run, but did you know that you can actually be part of the adventure? Tune in live on Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and you can make your voice heard and help determine the fate of our adventurers. Hope to see you there.
Greetings and welcome to The Dungeon Run, a live tabletop role-playing game where your interactions help tell the tale. I am Lord Ereban, the Keeper of Secrets, and I have brought these adventurers together and set them on an epic quest to decide the fate of the world. When they found my amulet, it gave them the key to unlock the mysteries of Ain and allowed them to communicate with you, the Watchers of the Time Stream. Now you have the power to help or hinder them as you see fit. If this is your first episode, fear not. Our Dungeon Master will catch you up on everything you need to know to jump right in. And you can always watch past episodes by visiting our YouTube or listen to the audio version by searching for The Dungeon Run wherever you get fine podcasts. The Dungeon Run is made possible through the generous support of our patrons. Bonus shows, special content, and more is available when you become a supporter at patreon.com/thedungeonrun. And join the incredible Dungeon Run community by visiting the official, unofficial, Discord at thedungeon.run/Discord. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does make a difference. But now, sit back, relax, enter the world of Ain, and let the dice roll!
Hello! Thank you, Lord Ereban! Welcome, watchers of the time stream, patrons, everybody. Welcome to episode 86 of the Dungeon Run. We're going to catch you up with everything you need to know to jump right into our show. If you're a first-time watcher, welcome all of our usual watchers. This is going to be a fun one this week. We got lots of stuff to talk about before we jump into the show. Lots of announcements. Last week, you saw our new intro with incredible art by Jason DeBitt. We will be starting the show with that in a second, but hopefully next week we will be launching our brand new merch store featuring shirts with some of that art that Jason created, and that was graphically designed by our very own Jessica Lynn Parsons. So Jessica, give us a little tease of hopefully what those shirts will be on sale next week.
Well, I don't have the renderings of the t-shirts, but I do have the designs. So here they are.
Look at those!
So good, right?
So
cute.
good.
Each of the characters is going to have their own shirt, and you'll be able to get them in a variety of colors, I believe. I think we're figuring all that out. But it's going to be cool.
We'll be keeping score which character gets the most.
Yeah, exactly.
It better be Civ. It should be Civ.
I mean,
I'm gonna stab someone.
Civ one's pretty cool.
We all decided that whichever shirt sells the least, that character is killed off in the show.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's true. That is true.
Well,
The Watchers have spoken.
I love you guys. It'll be great to see you later. Okay.
The art is fantastic. I think we have some other surprises coming in the store, and we're on track, I think, to have it up next week. So it's pretty exciting. We just wanted to give you a sneak peek because, you know, Jess was teasing it last week, but it's not quite ready yet, but we're getting close. Also, a couple of very important programming notes.
Indeed.
Next week, this show, which always is on at Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time here on twitch.tv/The Dungeon Run, we have some scheduling difficulties that we're going to work around. So we're actually going to do the show live one day earlier on Tuesday. That is what, June, what day is that? June
The 15th.
15th.
Yes.
Tuesday, June 15th at 6 p.m. Pacific time on twitch.tv/The Dungeon Run. That will be the live show. But if you're used to watching the show on Wednesday and you want to watch the show live on Wednesday, we will rerun it on our Twitch channel on Wednesday as well. Of course, if you're a subscriber to the Twitch channel, you'll have it on demand. It'll be on YouTube as normal on Friday as well. So lots of ways to watch it, but we want you to know if you want to be part of it, if you want to buy advantages and disadvantages and be part of the Team Good versus Evil war. It's happening on Tuesday next week. All right?
Right.
We will remind you on our social channels, and we will post that in the Discord as well. So lots of ways to be reminded that the show will be switching a little bit to Tuesday. But again, if you're here on Wednesday, you won't miss it.
Can you remind me that it's going to be on Tuesday next week?
Yeah. No,
'Cause
Jared,
I'm probably going to forget.
I'll nudge you. Don't worry.
The second big programming note is that starting June 23rd, we are going to do another of our really fun two-shots. The last one that was DM'd by the magnificent Amy Vorpal. People really loved it. We loved it, being able to invite guests on, work with new folks and old friends. It's been so much fun that we want to make it a regular thing and do it fairly regularly. And we're going to be doing it again starting June 23rd. We have some really cool guests lined up to join us. And a special DM is putting together what sounds like an incredible setting for this two-shot. Jared, why don't you tell folks who that DM is?
Morgan, did you forget to tell Jared?
I didn't get the memo.
DMing the two-shot. Jared, I'm so sorry. You're DMing
I'm
the
doing it?
two-shot.
Okay.
I
Okay,
forgot
cool.
to tell you.
So my idea is Fête des Lumières du Saphir, which is going to be set in the French Renaissance. It stands for the Sapphire Lights Festival. So it's going to be a festival that happens in a, you guessed it, French Renaissance town called Clair de Lune that I just made up because it's a random fantasy world that I'm creating from scratch. We'll call it Unine. But the thing that I think I'm the most excited about, Unine. It sounds terrible. It sounds like a sad German CD.
It's a different fantasy world.
Nine.
So the thing I'm the most excited about are the guests. Two of which, very, very cool. We can't announce them yet officially, but very cool. And one person in particular that you will all know very, very well from this show. Not going to say who it is.
So exciting. So stay tuned to
cool.
our social channels. We're going to be revealing who the guests are. And June 23rd and 30th will be that two-shot. So,
and if you like the Three Musketeers, or if you like Cyrano de Bergerac, that is going to be the genre or the world that it is set in.
Or if you want to see Jared Kajak hoisted on his own petard.
Or if you want to see Jessica Lynn Parsons very giddy.
Freak out.
This is very excited, and I just know that that Jared is going to get a taste of his own medicine. You know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're gonna ask
I'm
so
fully
many
expecting-
questions.
The up and will come.
I'm fully expecting Team Force of Evil and Force of Good to buy me disadvantages.
How many temples are in this town, Jared? Can we visit all
Yeah,
of them?
exactly.
Yes, all of them. And talk
and
to every NPC. I have backstories for all of them.
While we are on the programming tip, a couple of our fabulous cast, our players, were just on the official D&D podcast Dragon Talk, which I think dropped yesterday. Their episode just
Dropped
released
today, I think.
today as we're
Just
recording.
earlier today, I believe.
Katie Michaels, tell the folks about your appearance with our own JLP on Dragon Talk.
I mean, that's it. Jessica Lynn Parsons and I were on Dragon Talk, and it was an absolute divine treat. We talk this show. We talk our different bouts in D&Ding, and we get
Acting
into
styles.
some acting styles. It gets real goofy at sometimes, which I
You
know
know.
y'all
Greg and
will
Shelley
be
got
surprised
goofy?
by.
Shocker.
Yeah. We talk about A-list celebrities for a little bit at some point, I believe.
Yep. This
I'm
all
very
tracks.
excited to
Cover it all.
listen. Very excited
Yes.
to listen.
Yeah,
So
it's gonna be really
check
good.
that out. Lots of really cool announcements. Finally, I just want to say I've been told that it is essential you all know that Ron got a haircut.
Oh,
I was
that's our-
kidding, but you
It's
knew people were
very-
going to
yeah.
ask. Thank
Show
you.
it off, Ron.
Yes.
Show it off.
Yes.
hair flip.
Yeah.
You did
He
pull
does
it
that hair
dramatically.
toss.
You did
Summer
you did
do.
pull it dramatically out of the hair tie last week at one point, and I was like, Ron is showing off.
All right, so let me just give you the last bit of news you need to know before we jump into the game. As you may be aware, as Lord Erebon mentioned, this show is supported by Patreon, by folks who contribute every single month as patrons at patreon.com/thedungeonrun. And there are a number of ways that you can support the show, a number of levels that you can support the show, and you get cool stuff. You get extra shows. We have a whole talkback show called The Cool Down. This week, Morgan Peter Brown and Katie Michaels were on. It was very, very delightful to watch. You get that extra show on demand just for you. All kinds of other cool secrets and stuff. Check that out. But you can also support the show live as we play by gifting players advantages and disadvantages as we play, which lets them roll extra dice when they do skill checks and attack rolls. Or you can participate in our Team Good versus Team Evil battle, our tug of war between the forces of good and evil. And that involves purchasing balloons or the incredibly generous gift of potatoes, good potatoes, evil yams. Those influence the tug of war. And at the end of the episode, whichever team is triumphant impacts the next episode. And last week, Team Force of Good was the winning team. So that means that there will be a Force of Good card in effect throughout this entire episode. And I will reveal what that is now. These are cards submitted by viewers like you. And this one was submitted by Silly, S-I-L-Y, which I believe is a portmanteau of Civ and Lily. This is called Official Goofballery. This is a Force of Good card. Each player has the opportunity during the session to turn to Jeff and say the phrase, "It's time for some official goofballery," in an NPC's voice. One of the voices that we've heard over the course of the show. If Jeff guesses the NPC correctly, that player will be able to add a D6 to a roll of their choice. Each player must choose a different NPC voice. So you can't repeat any of the NPCs that somebody else has
Oh
done.
my gosh.
Okay.
So this is,
boy.
again, the phrase that pays is, "It's time for some official goofballery."
Official goofballery.
Official is
Yeah.
important.
It's time for
Some
some official goofballery in,
Yeah,
this,
and
in the
it- not
voice
in- you
of
don't-
an NPC.
It doesn't need to be in the context of the play. I mean, it's literally you stepping out of the game and talking to me as an NPC voice. So it's not in the context of our world or anything.
It can't
Alright.
be any one of the other of us. It has to be an NPC. Okay.
It has to be an NPC that you have encountered in the world, and it can't be an NPC that somebody else has already done this episode.
And
Make sense?
we each get to do this once.
Correct.
I love it. I love it.
Katie just wants to mock you the whole show. Jeff.
Shit, what else is new?
Yeah, that's kind of what I do anyway. So
That's why she gets fired every week.
yeah.
All right. Are we ready to enter our game?
Woo!
Yes.
Let's go.
All
Do it.
right, let's
Come on,
light
Mama.
let's light the torch. It started as a simple dungeon run that brought together 5 adventurers from 5 very different places. Civ Red Thistle from the city of gangs and grift, Olsvach. Fahima Tig from the small, sleepy town of Axbright. James Quillis from the bustling metropolis that is Turles. Lily Dumblestock from the idyllic resort island of Bingle. And Uggo Ragefist from Thorn, one of the two major orcish cities in the north. All of them drawn to an abandoned dragon's lair just outside of Kippelturn, with an opportunity for treasure. They entered that dungeon as individuals and emerged as a team, bringing with them a mysterious magical amulet they found inside. To identify it, they made contact with a wizard known as Torvald the Timid. Torvald told them that he and the other wizards of his order were searching for the Wardens, the 100-foot-tall sentinels who had overseen a lasting peace in Ain. Recently, these Wardens had gone missing, and the Natural Order were scouring the realms to track them down and figure out who could be powerful enough to capture Ain's greatest protectors. Torvald brought the team to the wreckage of a lodestar, a floating tower used as a sanctuary to care for flying creatures of all kinds. This immense building had fallen out of the clouds and crashed to the ground, nearly killing its caretaker, a sky child named Diptha. Diptha pointed the team toward another lodestar, still aloft, that had been taken over by a mad scientist named Fardinald Urtenfurt and used to imprison one of the Wardens. When the heroes defeated Urtenfurt and his clockwork creations, they freed the Warden and narrowly escaped the lodestar as it, too, was knocked to the ground. In the ensuing chaos, a traveling orcish war party attempted to claim the Warden for themselves. Uggo challenged their leader to a contest of strength, but before Uggo could claim victory, the team discovered that their magical amulet was even more powerful than they originally understood. When brought in contact with the Warden, the amulet unlocked a vision from the deepest recesses of the Warden's mind. It transported the team into a hidden past, revealing secrets that no one in all of Ain could remember. As the amulet bearers, the Heroes of Bingle began their quest to find the rest of the Wardens and witness the rest of their memories, piecing together clues about their shared history. Along the way, they learned that the cabal responsible for the Warden's capture was led by a mysterious woman known as the Ashen Mage. She had recruited Urtenfurt and others to join her cause and sought to add Fahima Tig to her side as well. But Fahima resisted, escaping the Ashen Mage's clutches not once, but twice, while learning a great deal about the dark magic she employed. With aid from the Natural Order, the Heroes of Bingle journeyed across Ain, finding and freeing 2 more Wardens. But as they traveled, orcs from Ukdun returned to capture Torvald and Diptha, marching them north to Thorn and into the waiting arms of Uggo's brother, Brakka. After the death of Uggo's father, Brakka had become war chief in Thorn, and under his rule, Thorn joined with Ukdun in their war against the dwarves. After narrowly escaping Siv's hometown of Olsvach with their lives, the team headed toward Thorn to rescue Torvald and Diptha. Their Vardo destroyed and one of their Achirai slain, the Heroes of Bingle rode 3 birds, a horse, and a bear through lands teeming with strange and hostile creatures. As they got closer to his homeland, Uggo suffered a disturbing nightmare, and the team had to fight off a pack of pus-slinging demons. Luckily, their experience in Olsvach, dealing with the ruthless gang leader known as the Cheesemonger, gave them enough experience to level up, and their new abilities helped them survive the vicious attack. Fahima achieved a deeper connection with her animal companion, Meep, integrating the phoenix into her spellcasting process. James leaned into his ability to assault the mind by tormenting the cheesemonger's dreams. Siv transformed his familiar, Mr. Whispers, into a snake to harvest poison and re-embrace the brutal tactics of his former life. Lily experienced snow for the first time and comboed her magical items to produce a truly life-saving amount of healing. And Uggo took the next step on his journey to become a paladin of the Candle Queen, pledging an oath of the family, inspired by lessons learned from each member of the team. But even as the Heroes of Bingle found a renewed sense of confidence in defeating their foes, they soon discovered more reasons for concern. Scouting ahead, Civ spied an orcish hunting party moving through the woods, each orc wearing the skin of a demon. As we ended last week, Uggo guided the team along the river to a refuge just south of Thorn. Locating a secret entrance camouflaged in the jungle thicket, he led them into a grotto, looking for the woman he calls Human Momma. There, built under a rocky outcropping, was a cormorantcy, complete with crops, fresh water collectors, and fishing traps. Humans in light-colored smocks tended the land peacefully. As Uggo rushed forward in excitement, a tall woman with auburn gray hair turned, spotted him, and spoke 2 words. Oh no. That is where we will pick up this week. I do need to thank some folks who've been giving us potatoes and yams during this intro. Hugely generous, incredible. 3 golden potatoes, one from Direnair, one from Bacon Chef Tommy, one from That Gamer Share. Thank you for those gold potatoes, incredible. Evil yams from Chef Scott 68 and the Cosmic Lord. Thank you for those evil yams. They are appreciated as well, extremely generous. And we got balloons. We got Kitty Scritches, Angel Devilson, Lily Dumblestuck Fan, a jar full of bees, and Juicy throwing us balloons. We appreciate those. Juicy. So right now, the tug of war stands with Team Force of Good at 61% and Team Force of Evil at 39%.
We'll see. Okay.
All right. So, Uggo, you see her. And she sees you.
Uggo will run almost, it looks like he's running like a child to a parent. It literally looks like that. He can't even hide it. And as he gets close, he realizes, I think he starts to realize a thing, and he stops and he gets down and he bends his head. He says, "Mom, I have returned. I bring my family you told me to find.
Uggo.
I found them."
Calm yourself, Uggo. Compose your thoughts. Precision, Uggo, in thought and deed.
Yes, Mama.
Who are your friends?
I apologize. And he straightens himself up. May I present the Honorable Lily Dumblestuck. Uggo kind of looks back at Lily.
Lily will step forward and curtsy grandly. It's a pleasure to meet you, my lady.
You needn't stand on ceremony.
I'm so sorry. It's so nice to meet you. I'm Lily. I love your regal nature.
Nothing regal here, dear.
Oh.
I'm just trying to make sense of this situation, Uggo.
I brought people here because there are things going wrong out there. And I know that you know things, and that you study things, and that you teach Uggo to search for answers. Well, Uggo's searching, and his search lead him back to you.
Could James roll an insight check
Sure.
on her, please?
Sure.
Whose name I don't know yet.
Jeff, what are the other people doing? I realize we just rode in here on 15-foot tall birds and a bear, and we're like
Casual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm genuinely curious. You said everybody was just wearing smocks. Are they?
That's right.
Are they nervous? Are they scared? Are they happy? Are they
Roll me a
angry?
perception check. You have advantage from Falstar.
Thank you, Falstar.
James, you can roll me the insight check. You have advantage from Last Cleric of Krypton.
Thank you, Last Cleric.
24 for perception.
So as you scan this area, definitely as you approach, you've got these giant birds, a bear, a horse. As you approach, definitely there was some movement stopped, and people, literally there's individuals with wicker baskets that are plucking vegetables off of plants on the ground. There are people, harvesting, checking the fish traps, and there's the bustle of an active community. You notice many of them stop and turn and look and see this woman with the long auburn gray hair move forward and accept you and start speaking with Uggo and the rest of you. And there is a pause as they are paused as they all kind of take you in. Some farther back are still doing things. And with your high perception roll, you also note that farther back in this tucked in grotto, it's hidden. It really is hidden back here. There's light. It's not a cave, but it is sort of tucked underneath this shelf of stone where there is this beautiful structure built. Think sort of Swiss Family Robinson, right? It's like this structure that seems to be built out of all of the material that you've seen around here, the kinds of trees and brush that you've moved through to get here is what makes up this structure. And it is integrated into the geometry of the rock and stone around it, with the river trickling by much farther forward. And you see in the back, there are some trees that seem to be planted very meticulously, very consciously to create food. And you see a couple of, there's a mule. There seems to be a mule with a bag, like a saddle bag full of vegetables. And that mule walks forward back toward the structure. And as it does, it transforms into a human holding the saddlebag on its back, and it walks into the structure. What was your insight check, James?
17.
You've just met this person. You are trying to find insight into what exactly?
I mean, I'm sort of surprised by really a lack of warmth. I think, at least what I'm perceiving in this moment. So I'm really like, I'm trying to. This is not at all what I expected, obviously, and so I'm trying to read her emotions towards Uggo. I think James is like, wait, what is this relationship really?
I think the insight that you would be able to glean with a 17 in that situation is that there is certainly no animosity here. She is accepting him and dealing with him, but there seems to be a precision of mind and a it's sort of all business and analysis. What you're seeing is very a clinical sort of approach to this situation. She has seen these strangers enter what you perceive to be a fairly safe, secluded place, and she is speaking to one of them that she knows and trying to assess what the situation is. It seems very clinical.
Huh. Right.
It's like a hippie commune, right? She leads a hippie commune.
But they're scientists or something. Yeah.
Essentially.
Awesome.
And Uggo says, Momma, I and these of my family, we are the heroes of Bingle.
Bingle?
The voice you heard in your head is James.
Hello.
My brother.
Oh, yes. Interesting. I'm not familiar with that particular brand of magic. How, pray tell, did you accomplish speaking into the heads of everyone?
It was it had something to do with what we've been going through. Actually, there's a magical. We have connections to certain magical items and beings that occasionally give us great surges of magic, and I'm kind of meeting everyone's eyes, and I'm kind of not. You can tell, like, I'm actively not giving certain things away, I guess, for now. But yes, we have occasionally access to the great power and
the wardens.
The wardens,
I just
yes.
stare at her when I say that to see what her reaction is.
Yes.
But Uggo,
you know, some
has...
do not believe they exist.
They do, Mama. I have seen them.
Yes.
I have touched one.
Uggo speaks the truth, yes.
I have been inside one's head.
I wish to know more about this, Uggo, but I am concerned as to why you have come this close to Thorn. I do not believe it is wise to return, as I indicated when I sent you away.
I know. It would not. I know. I listened to you, Mama. Uggo made pact. Uggo made promise. And now Brakka has done something wrong. He attacked dwarves.
Yes.
We have friends.
I cannot let that stand. Sorry.
We have friends. It's all right.
I'm emotional.
We have friends in Thorn who are being held by Brakka, and we need to rescue them.
Torvald.
Important friends.
Say that name again, Uggo.
Torvald.
The timid.
Friend. Yes, friend of mine.
Yes.
We observed prisoners, outsiders taken in to Thorn, but we were unable to ascertain their identities.
An old man and a small woman, a blue skin, bald head.
My child.
A sky child.
Yes, Mama.
And how do you know this?
I know lots of things. I learn lots of things, and my friends, they know lots of things too. This is why I wanted to come here for so long.
A sky child is quite rare indeed, especially this far east. Lodestars tend to go where they are needed, but it would take something monumental to draw them this far out of the mountains of Pash. And to cross Nilrim, unheard of. A fascinating observation, if true. You say she's one of the prisoners.
Perhaps it would be better if we spoke in a more private place.
Yes.
Everyone here is equally able to hear our conversation, but I understand if you would like to stable your animals and rest yourself. Please.
Yes, it's been a long day of travel.
You said the Sky Children are from Pash?
Lodestars, they're sanctuaries. They most commonly fly over the mountains of Pash, but some have seen them travel where they are needed. It is quite rare to see them this far east across the mountains of Nelrim. It would be quite something to raise them to the elevation needed to cross the pass.
I only ask out of curiosity. How have you come in contact with the Sky Child? How do you know of all of this?
We are observers, researchers of Ein. We cobble together as much information as we can in a variety of subjects. My commorancy is here established to observe the orcs and Thorn in particular.
I'm sorry, did I miss your name? What is it? I'm Fahima Taig.
Oh, pardon me. I am Lesliana.
Lesliana?
A pleasure to make your acquaintance.
And you're familiar with the Natural Order, then?
Yes.
Are you familiar with a Taig? A Conroy Taig?
I cannot say I've heard that name. No. But it is possible I do not recall. Is there some reason I should be aware?
It's just, he's my dad, and I'm looking for him.
Ah. I am afraid I cannot be of assistance in that matter at present.
Mama.
Yes, Uggo.
And he points at Fahima.
What? Wait,
Super awkward.
Uggo, you have the vocabulary to tell me exactly what you'd like to speak, please.
If you have observed, you may have observed that Fahima appears to be human, but is not. You can tell because if you observe properly, the color of the strands of the proteins that come from her scalp are not of normal human, I
Fire.
forgot the word. Huh?
Fire?
Derivation?
Thank you, Mama. That was the word I was looking for.
Oh.
I would very much like a sample if you are so inclined, dear.
Sample of my hair.
Yes.
Oh.
No one's ever asked that before, but in the name of research and science, how could I ever not give it away? All right. And she'll conjure a pair of scissors and snip a little piece of her hair.
Thank you. She pulls out a satchel and puts it inside, careful to keep it separate.
Uggo
from the
hugs
other items
Fahima.
inside.
Oh.
Thank you, Fahima.
Through the hug, she'll turn to the side and look back at Lesliana. Could you share your findings with me? I'm so curious about my own. Well, I don't know exactly what I am, so if you do find anything conclusive, please let me know. Oh.
Please. And she raises her hand and indicates in a couple of other people, humans in these smocks, stop what they're doing and walk over and offer to take your animals and guide them over to an area where they can graze.
No, I will take them. You will show me the way.
Sev,
No one touches the birds.
Sev, they are very aware of how
It
the
is
birds
not
work.
safe.
It is
We don't
very
trust
safe.
others.
Civ.
As you
All
wish.
right. It's all right.
I trusted you.
It's all right. It's all right.
I take
We're in a
no
safe
offense, Uggo.
space.
Uggo,
Happy
take
to allow
offense.
you. You are welcome here. Friends of Uggo are friends of ours.
What would
But
you
I'll
do
go.
if the orcs found this place?
They would surely slaughter us all. Which is why it remains of the utmost importance that we remain hidden.
Of course. Well, we have been traveling with Uggo for quite some time now. I think that he has displayed quite amount of ingenuity and loyalty and bravery. So I think you have every reason to be proud. This is very odd. I being a scholar and a librarian formerly of Nightstone Abbey myself, I'm quite interested to talk with you more, but time is slightly of the essence. As we said, we do have friends in mortal danger and Thorn, but we would certainly love to confer with you and perhaps gather some information before we continue onward.
Continue on. What do you intend to do?
Hey, Thorvald.
We need.
Uggo.
We need.
What?
You know exactly what Brakka wants.
It's true.
To defeat you in single combat in front of the entire tribe.
No.
Uggo, he thought you were dead. He thought he had killed you. I took great pains to ensure that no one in Thorn knew you survived, which meant Brakka had a singular claim to leadership here in Thorn. But when the orcs of Uggo told Brakka they had seen you alive, that you had declared yourself to them and challenged the warrior Grologo, Brakka became enraged, or shall I say, more enraged. As you know, Thorn had been isolated, at war with Uggo, at war with everyone for years. There had been no bounds to their rage and enmity. But Brakka knew that you were alive, and his claim to leadership would never really be secure. That there would always be doubt as to who the strongest really was. Who was the one that had slain Ragefist and seized power. And the only way for him to prove once and for all that he is the strongest is to kill you, Uggo. Publicly, in plain sight of the tribe. So he made a deal with Uggo. He united the two orc cities under a single banner to march against the dwarves. Why? Because they told him they had something you want. They told him they could deliver you to him. And now you are here, doing exactly as he would want. That is unwise. Uggo.
I know. I don't have any other choice.
Miss Human Mama.
Lily,
Oh.
I can stand up for myself. Thank you. If there was any other course of action, Mama, any, you know I would not be here. You made it very clear to Uggo to stay away, to find family elsewhere, to start over, to disappear.
And yet here you are, Uggo.
Did not have any choice. Just like what Brakka did, I did not have any choice. I came here because I need your help again. I know that is inconvenient for you, and I am sorry.
Uggo.
But you may also get information out of this. You may learn more, and that is what I offer in return. Uggo has learned many things. He has seen many things. Things Momma would not believe. You already don't. You need to know. You need to accept and be skeptical like you teach Uggo. And listen, I have power you have never seen. I know I should not face Brakka. I know this makes it worse. I know. But not doing it makes it more worse. I almost said worser.
I appreciate the correction.
Sorry, I got emotional.
It is okay, Uggo. It pains me to see you in this state. And I do wish to aid you. I would like to trust that you have done the proper analysis of this situation, weighed the pros and cons, and come out dispassionately for your course of action. But I can see by your behavior that is not the case. That you are swayed by your anger.
We don't have a choice. They're going to kill them.
Madam.
Oh,
And
do you know what's going on outside? Have you seen the demons?
Of course.
The
We
issues
know how
that we
they
are-
happened.
the
And
issues
Uggo
that we
pulls
are
out the blue
dealing
chip.
with.
Just let Uggo.
You're right. I'm sorry.
What did you pull out?
The ceramic chip. That when
What
you
is
put them
that,
close,
Uggo? What are you holding?
It is ceramic, I think.
I can
Or
see that.
It come from urn. It explode when you put close to demon turn blue. There is much we need to tell you and not much time in which to tell you.
I do not know the proper course of action here. I do not believe I have all of the variables.
Well, then perhaps the proper course of action is to gather more information by listening to
Of course.
my friends.
Come inside. I will prepare you some beverage and sustenance.
When she gives in that way, when she says so much, you see Uggo kind of puff up a bit and look a little bit more proud of himself, and he looks at all you.
I'll touch Uggo on the shoulder. Kind of.
Sir,
Just
before
basic.
you go inside, can I talk to you, please?
No.
Forward.
She moves forward, and there's a couple of other sort of, I don't want to say assistants, but additional individuals that guide you in and point Civ toward where the other animals are being led.
I want to make sure that these birds and this bear aren't going to, not only are they not going to get harmed, but I also don't want them to harm these people.
right,
Because they don't know anything about these birds, and these birds have been bonded to us, just like when we were in the stables.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what this bear is capable of other than ripping a guard to pieces.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean,
I'm going to make sure
Fair.
that they're like very careful with these animals, and they realize that these animals are capable of killing them if they do anything stupid.
Yeah, you see a individual in a very light smock indicating another individual much farther away, and the second one walks over, long shaggy beard, long hair, sees the bear and nods and walks over to it and then transforms into a bear, snout extending, hair lengthening, arms, and then pats up next to the bear and kind of leads it forward.
There's not enough booze in my satchel for that. I look at like the like 2 swallows that's left in my jug of random Olsvach booze, and I just down it and then throw the bottle to the side. I guess I'll just guide the birds and the horse then, since Buddy Bear's got a buddy.
So they lead you over
I'm gonna
to
go with Civ to help with this.
All right, they lead you over to a sort of a side area where there's this very sort of simplistically built pen is the wrong word, but a small gated area that looks like it's where they plan to leave the animals to let them graze open, free, they're not tied up, they're uninhibited, just sort of like in this little penned off area.
Okay, I'll guide them in there and calm them down and make sure that they're fed and brushed and all that jazz.
Okay.
And then I'll give some brief, instructions to whoever's going to be watching them or taking care of them, and hopefully introduce the birds to that person so that bird kind of trusts that person a little bit.
Yeah. You are struck by the sort of gentle and easygoing nature of these individuals, and they listen to you and speak very, very little. They just sort of observe what you say and nod as you give them instructions, and look at the birds and reach their hand out and press their hand on the back of the feathers. And the birds seem strangely at ease with them as well. You've seen these birds, you trained them yourselves, and you've seen them have a hard time initially with James and other unfamiliar individuals that they've come across. They don't know these people at all, and yet they seem very, very calm and comfortable as they reach out their hands. And
maybe they just don't like warlocks.
It's possible. It's only possible.
Although they bonded now, so it's all good.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
How dare you?
See, Civ, they're fine.
Yes, it's not that I didn't think that they were capable of taking care of the animals. It's that I was worried that the animals were going to attack them. They have been through a lot, and I thought there was a good chance that they could react in a defensive way, especially the birds, seeing one of their friends be killed in front of them.
I think not just the birds are having that reaction to it. Is that true?
What do you mean?
I mean, we all didn't like seeing that. We're all reacting differently to what happened.
To the bird dying?
To what's happened the last day and a half.
What do you mean?
Civ, you know what I mean. You don't.
I don't know what you mean.
All the things that happened in Olsvach.
You mean us failing to get the bone
Yes,
and
that.
almost dying?
That's the state in which we left Olsvach. That's the first
Olsvach
time.
is a sick place.
I know.
I
And it
tried
has-
to warn you all that it was sick and that it was dangerous.
It's not
I
your
should
fault
not have taken
that
you there.
Olsvach is sick, Civ. None of this is your fault. But I feel like maybe you don't know that.
I love you.
I love you too. But I'm worried about you. Very
I
worried.
don't know how much longer I can do this.
Do what?
This.
Now I don't know what you're talking about.
You know, sometimes I like to think about the future.
Yeah.
And I like to picture a place with you.
Yeah.
With a lot of little children running around.
Yeah. I don't know what size they would be, actually.
I meant if we ran the orphanage, like you were saying.
Oh, right. Presumptuous, assume otherwise. Yes. Other people's children.
Or ours. Perhaps they are mixed. But when I think about this, I realize that it is a dream.
Yeah. So?
Dreams are dreams.
Would you
This
have
is
not-
real. What we are doing, this is very real. We are probably going to have to kill Uggo's brother.
Yes.
You are okay with this?
No. I'm not okay with a lot of it, and I'm still honestly reconciling my own feelings. Because it's not exactly what I knew I was getting into. I didn't know what I was getting into. How could I? But that's how life is, isn't it? How can we know? So we can always constantly plan for the worst, or we can find the best in what we have.
I lean in and kiss you.
Do you understand, though, Civ?
That is why I love you.
I know, but you said you don't think you can do it anymore. What does that mean?
It is hard for me to pretend.
What are you pretending?
That I am a hero. That I am Civ Redisel. Deep down, I think I am always going to be Sivrak.
Sure. He'll always be there. But that doesn't mean you always have to be him. He's part of who made you who you are today, Civ. He's part of why you have such a strong moral compass in this life. Sivrak is what gives you that. Sivrak is not your enemy. Sivrak is someone you have learned from. Sivrak has taught you what it feels like to do what is really wrong, which is how you know what is really wrong, and which is how you know what is really right. Because you've experienced both. We all should be so lucky to have little Sivrak. So I think you need to stop making yourself more of a villain than you are, and it's not pretending to be a hero, Civ. You don't get to decide that. None of us get to decide that. Others decide that for us, based on what we do or what we don't do. And yes, that title could get taken away at any time, but right now, people think we are that. And so I choose to act like we are and not fall down and say that I can't. Because we know we can. We've done it already. And we can do it again, and it wasn't easy before, and it won't be easy this time. But it's a whole lot easier with all of us together than on our own. Am I being condescending right now?
No,
Okay.
you are being you. You are being the person I fell in love with. And why I am still here.
And you're the person I fell in love with.
I was a
Sid.
different person when you first met me.
We all were. I could say the same thing. Has it changed how you feel about me?
No.
So, why is it different for you?
What if we just run away? You and I.
That would be easier, huh? Well, actually, maybe not, because then we might get attacked by those orcs.
Hmm. You know I have all the money.
I know. Listen, I picked the right person in the group. Hey, but maybe you should try just for a little bit not drinking quite so much.
I don't have anything left.
Yeah, perfect. I truly hate cutting people off, but it's part of my job. Apparently everywhere. But maybe last call for a little bit?
Yes.
And maybe if you feel like it's calling to you, which I know it has the want to do sometimes, you just try to come talk to me instead. No judgment. Okay?
I will come to you the next time I want to drink.
Great. So I'll see you a lot more then. I'm just kidding.
He nods and smiles.
All right. The birds are happy. Should we go back?
Meanwhile, inside, the rest of the team is moving into this interior space. And all of you notice that everything seems to be handmade in a way that you don't see in other places. It's rustic and rough around the edges, bits of the environment left on things, branches and logs and bits of wood that haven't been shaved down or made perfect. Everything is a little bit misshapen and a little more rustic than you might imagine. Everything hand carved, the chairs and tables and the walls themselves. Uggo, as you enter this place, you start to get this sense of being confined in here again. But Lesliana leads all of you in and into a sort of an antechamber in the back. It's a fairly large size habitat, this place where a number of people seem to live and work. She leads you into an unused room, or at least an empty room in this moment, and to a table where you can all sit down, and there is food and drink brought to you, nuts and berries, raw vegetables and fruits. There are a number of very delicious things, but again, all of it sort of in a very, very natural state. You know, it is not a lot of preparation. It is not a lot of spice or cooking. It is the earth, the land brought to you, put on the table in front of you.
Jeff, have I... Morgan is assuming these are druids, or at least partially druids. Has James ever heard of these animal shapeshifters?
I think you know that a druid is a thing. Yeah, I think that you're aware of the fact that druids are, in the world.
Taking that in. Okay, got it. Right.
Mama, I brought you a lot of things. I have this basilisk tongue. I got claws from a bunch of different animals. This is from a demon. I think Fahima's got a couple of things from demons as well.
I do, yes.
This is fascinating, and quite aromatic.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. I should have put on the perfume.
Oh
Oh,
my!
oh,
Oh my!
no.
Oh yeah, that is
No,
quite worse.
don't.
No.
Yeah.
Please.
Oh, Behema, can you press to digitate?
Yeah.
For,
Yeah.
for
Ye- Yeah. Press to digitate. I got it.
That's it.
Ugh. Yeah. That needs to go.
Thank you.
How many years have you been here, Lesliana, you and your people?
Quite a few. It has been our mission to observe the orcs as long as possible. We have a long-term project to compile as much information about Thorn and by proxy Uggo as possible.
Do you have a central institution, locale? Are there other commorancies around Ain?
Indeed there are, yes. A number of researchers of Ain. It is... Well, allow me to explain.
Please.
I use that term, researcher, precisely. Research. To search again. We search for knowledge that was already found and lost and must be rediscovered. We are a loose association of scientists, researchers, observers.
Fascinating. That's very interesting to hear. Yes.
I'd love to hear a bit more on that. Is there anything more you'd like to say on that? I'm very interested.
What would you like to know?
Well, what are these? What is the knowledge that has been lost that you are looking
Surely
for?
you know that everything prior to the Great War has been lost to our world.
We've been dabbling quite a bit in that ourselves, actually.
And you have an association with Torvald the Timid?
Torvald was sort of the one who brought us into this a bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna insight when she says Torvald the Timid.
Yeah.
She just did.
I was
Okay.
about to do that too, so
All right.
I'll back you up if you don't get.
You guys can both roll if you like. I want to know what you are trying to discern here. But Fahima, you have advantage from False Star countered by which space? And Uggo, you have advantage from False Star as well.
Thank you, Fallstar.
I'm looking to see if there's any if she feels tense when describing Torvald or animosity, or if she doesn't feel totally truthful about her intentions when she's asking.
Okay.
Uggo is trying to determine whether, based on his experience with human Momma, when she talks about someone she doesn't like, is that the way she's referring to this person?
Right.
And I rolled a 7.
I rolled very poorly. I rolled an 11.
All right. Neither of you have much insight.
Wait. It's time for some official goofballery.
Is that Zanalka?
It's Leonid!
Leonid, you went with the harder one?
Yeah.
Because I have to stump you.
No, you're trying to get me to answer correctly.
Yeah.
I thought you were trying to stump you.
No, you're trying to get me to
No.
answer correctly.
Well.
I'm gonna give it to you because you
All right.
misunderstood, and
That's
clearly
pretty
you're
close.
doing one of the werewolves.
I
so.
thought it was.
Pretty
That's why I thought it
close.
was so hard. I was like, "How are we gonna stump Jeff on his
No.
own NPCs?"
You're trying to get me to answer correctly.
I was looking through my notes for the most obscure NPCs, like the chick who carried the laundry at Castle Rum. I was like, "What is her name? What did she sound like?"
That's
I was
very
like,
kind of
I
you.
like that version. Do that. No, I'm kidding.
All right, so you can get a +5.
Oh, but
to
I
your
rolled
roll.
+5.
No,
Oh,
sorry, it's a D6. You're right, it's a D6.
It's
You rolled a
I rolled,
1.
I rolled a 1 on my D6.
So you got a 12 instead of an 11. Yeah. So yeah, neither of you really have I think Fahima, you get some sense that there is something there, that she certainly is referencing a name she is aware of, but she sort of made that clear earlier too. But Uggo, perhaps your emotions get the better of you, and you're just kind of overwhelmed by being back in this place.
Looking at her and they're just like, oh, it's Momma.
Fahima's gonna cut in here and say, we've met him once or twice, and we are looking for him. What is your understanding of the natural order? of their intentions?
Well, the researchers of Ein were once aligned with the natural order. We were both seeking the truth, in pursuit of knowledge, obsessed with relearning everything our world lost after the war. But our intentions diverged from the wizards, and so we parted ways amicably.
Well, we had heard that when this knowledge was lost, it was for the protection of the world. What are your thoughts on the Wardens?
Well, the natural order, of course, were obsessed with the Wardens.
I know.
Right.
The natural order were founded on the same principles under which our organization operates to this day: to observe, to record, to learn, not to interfere. They still claim to be pacifists, I understand, but they have adopted an interventionalist stance that we, as scientists, cannot condone.
So you will not interfere, no matter what the cost?
That is correct.
You saved Uggo.
Yes, and that was highly inappropriate.
I didn't think it was inappropriate.
Obviously.
Most here disagreed with you, Uggo. Most here wanted me to terminate Uggo, dispose of the sample, as it were. But, Uggo, you proved them all wrong.
Yeah.
We learned a tremendous amount about the capacity of orcs.
Yeah.
And you in particular. You astounded us, Uggo, and you made me quite proud. With your cognitive leaps and your ability to transcend your circumstances.
Amazing.
So, well, to go back to my earlier question, and again, all of this is just out of curiosity. Do you not agree then that whatever happened, the hiding or the losing of what was pre-war is not to protect Ein?
To protect Ein? Well, I make no judgments. I simply seek the knowledge. I want to observe. I want to learn. I want to know. And there is only one way to do that. And that is, as we do, to stand back, not affect the data.
Have you heard of a man named Erdenfurt?
A gnome who
Yes.
speaks in rhymes and riddles?
Ah, you do then.
Yes.
Yes.
That just
Yes.
hit me. You know Erdenfurt?
It's what he's calling himself now, I suppose. Yes.
Oh, he had a Christian name, a first name. What do you call that? What do you call the Dine?
Not that, probably.
An original name?
Probably not.
A surname?
A former alias? I don't know, whatever.
He,
But also known as?
he's called himself a number of things from time to
A
time.
gnome de plume. Oh, sorry.
That's
Sorry,
good,
it just
that's
came to
good.
me and I had to get it out.
Dad jokes.
Thank you,
Hashtag
thank
dad
you.
jokes.
It was my turn this week.
He is a brilliant scientist, no doubt, but preoccupied with the most frivolous pursuits, riddles and rhymes, anything to reinforce the notion of his own preeminence. A waste of an exceptional mind.
Did you know him personally?
Of course.
Of
We interacted on a number of occasions years ago. His methods are crude, and he seems now to be enabling the orcs of Ukdun, providing them technology of his own design to assist in their war against Vimdur and Daltothum.
Rologo had it all over his body.
It seems as though you have the same goal as Ertfurt.
as I said, I disagree with his methods. He wishes to assert himself. I wish to remain anonymous and not interfere, to observe and to record.
What you spoke about, the finding of the lost information, the history, that is at the core of all of the trouble that we are dealing with now, because some, Erdenvert among them, are very violently pursuing those secrets and that lost knowledge. It's very upsetting. You said all of the researchers used to be aligned. Do you know someone named Calcutta Theed?
I do not know that name, no.
How about of a...
Inside check.
Sure.
Yeah, do it.
All right, you have advantage from Gateway Guy, countered by Witch Space.
Ah. Oh, 12.
You think she's telling the truth?
Same
Hard
as
to
last
know.
time.
How about a people that live below ground called the Drow?
People?
Yes,
You mean an
Perhaps.
entire species?
a civilization. But
Could be.
they are humanoid, I believe. Is that correct, Fahima? I mean, I don't know about the species.
Yes.
This is not something I am aware of, but it sounds fascinating and certainly deserving of study.
Well, we have drawn some parallels between the Drow and the Sky Children.
Yes.
And those are?
Well, they both seem
Ugh.
perhaps descendant of elves.
How much time do you have, honestly? Yeah.
Oh, there are 5 wardens, not 4.
Interesting, Uggo.
Hmm.
You
Seen
you
it
are
with my
certain
own
of
eyes.
this?
I have observed it.
Ah. It
I
seems
mean, I guess
that
I
you
could have been hallucinating, but they also all saw it, so.
We don't know what are hallucinations and what is reality sometimes.
We believe that the Sky Children are descended from one of the original wardens themselves, from an elf who was the last of her kind before the War of Ideas.
Interesting.
Does any of that mean anything to you?
Certainly something I would wish to study. But not my field. I have been concerned with the behavior of the orcs, which has
Yes.
been alarming to us for quite some time.
We saw
me ask
them.
you-
We observed them wearing demon skins.
Yes,
That's Brakka's doing.
I know this. Brakka's behavior has gotten only more erratic since you left, Uggo. He's become more and more
Uggo
reclusive.
kind of glances at James and then back at you and Momma.
Now he is
What?
unwilling to leave the Underfury. He doesn't seem in control of his rage, Uggo. Which I hope you have been.
Lesliana, Uggo is mentioned, and there seems to be possibly a connection to some other things that we're dealing with about the old ones, possibly existing in the area. Uggo, what are they called? They were called something in Thorn, existing in caves.
On is forgotten. Because he did not write it down on this piece of paper. He has it. in front of him. Jeff, what were they? Can you remember?
What are we trying to figure out?
There
What
is
the
a
old ones were?
darkness. There is a darkness. Not necessarily the old ones. It wasn't, but it was. It was something that Uggo saw that was familiar when I walked into the Hugger of Adar underneath Sky Scorcher, and
This
it was
is-
called something. And I don't have the note in front of me right now.
I honestly don't know what you guys are referring to, but I will help if I can.
Okay. All right.
But Lesliana nods and looks at you and says, "This is in line with some of the theories that we have been operating under. There is such a concentration of enmity, rage, if you will, within the orcs. Many believed it was a natural state for their species. we disagreed. And Uggo stands before you as evidence to the contrary.
I still get angry.
Huh. Do you think the Old Ones perhaps have an influence over the entire area, and that it's seeped into the culture of the Orcs?
We have regularly observed them. We disguise ourselves as wolves, other animals, and integrate ourselves in their day-to-day activities to observe. And those that do often come back agitated, angry, not themselves.
Oh.
It is highly unusual, but certainly fascinating.
Are there centers? Are there epicenters of this effect, of this?
This is about when Civ and Lily enter back into the room, guided by, one of the smocked individuals.
Uggo always think war chief.
It is unclear at this moment. I do not know if Brakka is to blame, but in recent days, weeks, since the appearance of those creatures in the woods,
Yes.
Brakka has become obsessed with them. He sends hunting teams into the forest to track and kill them. And as you said, they wear demon pelts as an expression of their strength and fearlessness. They call themselves Tanaruk.
What does that mean in Orc?
I believe it is the demon-skinned. And Uggo, if you'd like to roll me a history check, you have advantage from the dungeon run. Yay!
Thank you, the dungeon run. Yay, I need it. Nat 20
Whoa!
Woo!
You
for a
know-
19.
You know immediately that that's not quite right. It does not translate into the demon skinned. It translates to the demon blood.
Ooh.
Not right, Sev. Not skin.
Yes.
Like brother. Blood.
Have you observed magic that Brakka or others of his close? Do they use magic of any kind?
Of course. But magic is no different than science. We use the term magic to describe things we do not precisely understand. But science is the process of understanding. The more we know, the less it appears to be magic. Or, to put it another way, science allows us to do magical things that we understand.
I don't disagree with any of that. Their science, then, does it have an air of shadow, darkness about it?
Very much so, yes.
Okay.
So just to get this straight, there are two warring orc parties. Brakka has pulled together Ukdun and Thorn against this third orcish
Dwarves. No, the dwarves.
the dwarves.
Ukdun, hey, I thought you studied your history, girl. Ukdun has been at war with the dwarves for many years. And, of course, Thorn has been at war with Ukdun. Thorn has been at war with anyone, everyone.
No.
Their rage knows no bounds. And somehow, now, Ukdun and Thorn have united against the dwarves, which indicates very troublesome things for the dwarves. It will be fascinating to watch how it plays out.
I think
Are
that
you saying that Thorn is now strongest clan?
Well, it seems that Ukdun gave Brakka something he wanted, and in return, he united his banner with Ukdun, offered troops and support, materials in the war.
We know what Ukdun gave to Brakka?
Torvald.
Yes. Your prisoners. I have told you.
Oh.
I have tried to make clear, Uggo. He wants you. And you, marching into Thorn, does not seem wise. He has gone to great lengths to ensure that he could kill you in front of the entire tribe. It is the only way that he can maintain absolute leadership without any doubt. If you had just remained,
he doesn't.
if you had just remained dead to his eyes, none of this would have happened.
Understand that. I have already said to you, there is no other option. And I know it does not appear to be wise that we need to confront him or find a way to save Torvald. But someone told Momma once it was not wise to save Uggo.
Yes.
Chance to learn, Momma. Learn more than you ever did before. Split the nest wide open. Look inside, see tunnels.
I will not pretend that I am not intrigued by the notion, Uggo.
I know
you
want to observe, you don't want to involve, I understand. I don't want your help to get there, I just want information.
I have been forthright with everything I have said to you thus far.
You have. Thank you, Momma.
Do you know where they are keeping Torvald?
I fear it is close to Brakka, which means the Underfury.
You said that before. What is the Underfury?
A place that Uggo knows all too well.
We don't go there. We cannot go there.
What is
Why?
it? I understand.
A sacred place for the Orcs of Thorn. A deep, dark place where they settled their most grievous claims.
Okay. Understood. All right.
Garmak Laktuk Baraka. In Orc, that means, are you going to kill your brother?
Looks him and says in Orcish, do you think I could kill you?
I nod.
Uggo. I will not deny it pleases me to see you well and among friends. Please, take advantage of my hospitality. Stay the night. Compose yourselves. Align your thoughts. Think, observe, and weigh the consequences of taking action. You have full run of everything here in the commoncy. I am at your service, as are all of our researchers. Do not act rashly, Uggo. How many times did we talk? How many times did we walk through our feelings? I know that you can do it.
Follow code now. I'll go
Code.
find path. Do you know, it's Amanda?
The Candle Queen. Uggo, you know that we do not rely on gods. We are in charge of our own destinies.
Yes, I agree. But I get power from God. Magic, science from God. Maybe not God. Maybe not controller of entire reality. But has some sway, is some process. I show you. And Jeff, he's gonna grab Mama's hand softly and look at her and say, "May the warmth of the Candle Queen feel as warm as my love for you." And I'll give her a point of healing, lay on hands.
That felt nice.
It's more than that. Everything else I would have to try to hurt you.
Now let me ask you a question, Uggo.
Yes, Mama.
How many times can you do that in a day?
That one? Couple of times.
A couple of times.
Yeah.
And then what do you need?
Rest.
Rest.
Yeah.
And why is that, Uggo?
Why do I need rest?
Yes, in order to perform your magic again.
Because like all things, there are limited amounts of them, and when you use a resource, you have to find a way to replenish it. And the way that is done in the human body is by resting, and also done in the orc body by resting, and also done in all other bodies that require rest, unlike James. But there are things that need rest, and therefore you need to sleep.
And why is that, Uggo? Because energy is constant.
Yes.
We take in fuel in the form of food and sustenance. We process that fuel when we rest, and we can turn that fuel into what some call mana. It is science.
Yeah.
Constancy. Energy in, energy out.
Yep.
Oh.
And the energy of my passion is very strong. And I use the food that becomes mana to fuel that passion in a way that is controlled.
Very good, Uggo.
I talked to them.
James is.
Mama, I talked to them. I totally forgot. I talked to the.
Calm yourself, Uggo. Calm
Yes,
yourself.
I'll let you talk.
Precision.
Ron, I'll let you talk. But with this distraction, Fahima will begin to whisper to James. But you go ahead.
The spirits, the spirit ancestors, the ones I told you I see, and you not believe that I see them. I can summon them now.
You can summon your...
Yes. But you might not like how I have to do that.
Is it involving your rage? Uggo, I am pleased you have found a productive channel for your anger. And you do not need to prove anything to me. It is clear your ancestors have channeled energy into you. That is not something to be taken lightly. I
I had
respect.
not thought of it that way.
Uggo, you have come a long way since the last time I saw you. That is undisputable.
You're working really hard.
I can see that, Uggo.
Won't stop. That's why I'm here. I'm working hard to do what you taught me and to think properly and to make decisions and know their consequences. Not always good at that, and I still fail, but that's not, you told me. The energy is there, I just need to focus it.
If there is anything else I can assist you with, I am happy to.
Well,
But
while that was happening, Fahima's gonna whisper to James, do you think I should show her the Urgenford plans that I have?
No, I don't think so.
I don't really know whose side she's on. Not that we have to pick sides, but
I think the point is she's not on any side. But
I don't know if I believe that. And talking about the mana, the consuming the food, maybe she knows something about how his contraption works.
possibly.
If it's
I suppose.
being developed by scientific methods that are similar to what she's studying, and she's also studying the orcs, from whom the materials are coming.
Lesiana, have your people laid eyes on Fert recently?
There was a period when he seemed to have approached the orcs of Ukdun, but of course, our commorancy is focused on Thorn. So
Got it.
much of what we learned was secondhand.
We heard about that. It's possible that the orcs are being manipulated by Fert and this woman, Calcutta Theed, to weaken the dwarves and keep everything in chaos while they go about their business, their very dark business.
Well, it certainly makes sense that a weakened Vimdur and Daltothum would destabilize the entire region.
Right.
The Nelrim Mountains serve as a barrier between East and West Ain.
You haven't seen any massive constructions being built by the orcs, have you?
No, but quite a bit of materials seem to be exported at a rapid rate.
Where to?
It is uncertain, but I know, well, it seems that a large amount is headed toward Ukdun and other places south.
Back to Uktun and other places south.
I fear
Okay.
they are marching on Daltothum even as we speak.
We stopped some of their assaults ourselves earlier.
You five.
Correct. Uggo himself saved quite many dwarves.
She's rolling an insight check.
Be my guest.
She seems very incredulous. Well, that is an impressive claim.
Yes.
Have you written any papers or any books on this consumption turning to mana? I'd love to know more about it.
Our research is unfinished, and publishing would be premature at this time.
I'd love to join a study if we have time. I would just love to see how it works.
It is a patient task of observation, recording, and more observation. There is, of course, testing and experimentation, but as I said, we attempt to remain as impartial and do not interfere when at all possible.
I see. Well, if I may, and I wouldn't be disturbing it, I would love to join.
Okay. There is much to do around here, and if you five are interested in helping maintain the status of this commorancy, we can easily incorporate you into our daily activities. You are welcome to stay and help
Nice.
harvest the yield, fish, protect the outskirts, and
I'm
hunt.
an excellent fisher.
You are from Bingle,
Yes.
Ah,
Have you been?
no, but
Oh.
I've always dreamed of it.
Well, if you ever go, say that you know Lily.
He's also a very good cook and makes a great cocktail.
All
It's
true.
Mama, I would like to help with the hunting like I usually do. Could I also request that one of the druids join us so that I could talk to Buddy?
Of course. Your bear.
Yeah, he's my buddy.
As you
How
wish.
But
far-
I want him to understand that we are a team, that I don't own him. He's welcome to go if he wants to. I just want him to be fearsome like me. Well, rather, I want to be fearsome like him, but yeah.
I shall do
just
my best to help.
A couple questions.
Yes.
Okay, so just to be clear, Tanaruk means demon blood brothers,
Human blood.
Yeah,
Oh.
demon blooded.
not brothers.
No, I think
Okay.
what Tanaruk means is they're not just killing demons, they're probably also drinking their blood.
Oh, okay.
If you recall, my people think that is where we get most of our mana.
Got it. And then this
And
underfury.
if the blood is full of rage, bigger mana.
Okay, I get it. It's good to know the logic, I guess, behind it. And then this underfury that you speak of, if someone or something was in there, what would be the circumstance in which they would be brought out?
Uggo? Victorious in battle?
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
And Brakka's just waiting there? And they say he's not leaving?
Brakka rules Thorn, and
Hmm.
more and more often he spends time in the Underfury, at least as much as we can discern from our observations. It is not easy to get data about Brakka's movements these days.
It's
How far
probably
is it from...
preparing rituals and dark things?
How
Yes,
far
I'm
is it from
concerned.
here to Thorn? To where the Underfury is, to the outskirts even?
Not far. You could make it in less than a day, but I must again advise a different course of action.
Jeff, is Thorn all orcs, or are there non-orcs there as well? Have
It's
I ever
all-
been there?
It's all orcs. No, you have fought alongside them in the mercenary wars
Right.
that you fought alongside them and against them. You've been hired on both
Right.
sides of that,
Right.
the skirmishes between Ukdun and Thorn. But yeah, they're pretty
It's
pretty
orc-centric.
obsessive about not letting outsiders into the city central.
Got it. Not even like traders or merchants or anything like that.
Sure, that happens.
Right.
Less and less, but they are notoriously angry, off-putting, and hard to deal with. Whereas Ukdun has integrated themselves a bit more into the normal running of the world. Even though they've maintained this war with the dwarves, they're still much more integrated with. Olsvach has some trade with Thorn. Thorn would be unable to be completely self-sustaining,
Right.
but it is fraught with disagreements and angry outbursts, and all of a sudden somebody will be killed, out of nowhere. It's that kind of thing.
Right. It's tough negotiations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's might. Might
Yeah.
makes right.
Might makes right. Exactly.
What are you've studied the Orcs of Thorn for quite some time. What are they afraid of?
Weakness.
Is Brakka's rule a strong one, or is he being challenged?
Uggo represents the biggest challenge to Brakka, and that is, I'm sure, why he wishes to stamp it out. But this recent behavior, this obsession with the demons, I do not
know what that indicates.
They act like animals sometimes. In other times, they act like animals, but when they kill, they seem to kill for sport.
Well,
You interacted with one.
our initial observations seem to indicate that Brakka and his hunting parties wanted to eradicate them. But I don't think that is entirely the case. There was no desire to destroy, but to unify.
Mhm.
They kill them to subsume them. Does that make sense?
I think so.
No, I don't have that in my Orctionary. And Uggo pulls out the book and flips to the. What does subsume mean?
Go.
Yeah. What?
You are reading.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm reading. I'm also writing. I also cast spells. How you spell subsume?
Pardon me, I rarely lose my composure.
Are you okay?
Yes.
I'll give Uggo a little push towards his mom.
Oh, oh.
Give her a hug.
Oh! Mama, can I hug you?
No.
Right.
Whoa, no wonder Uggo has a hugging complex.
Lily will just give Uggo a hug from the side.
Thank you, Lily. I appreciate that. How do you spell subsume, no?
She spelled it.
What does it mean?
S-U-B-S-U-M-E, I believe.
Okay, and what does it mean?
It means to take into oneself, to absorb, to
Like consume.
dominate. Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, to Uggo. Okay.
Uggo, are you wanting her to have the demon body that you asked me to put in the sack?
Uggo looks at Behema. It's for you.
No, I think this is the best place for it.
Okay, Mama, we have a demon body for you.
Why, thank you.
You're welcome.
Many of the researchers here have been tempted to divert our course of study to these new phenomenon. But I have resisted, and I want to stay the course, focusing on the orcs. I feel like we are close to a breakthrough of understanding. But I will not refuse new data. Thank you.
Have you ever heard of the Urn of Invention?
No.
Okay.
Uggo holds up the chip.
Oh. I'm
Well-
noting that down. She notes it down.
It's been a long day of travel.
Yes.
We can
I'm happy
stay
to.
out.
There are guests. There's not guests' quarters. There are quarters that can be made available to you.
Thank
we
you.
never have guests, but you are welcome to stay, and your comfort will be our highest priority.
Oh, that's very kind. Thank you.
Thank you.
And as she leads you into that next chamber, she sort of hangs back with Uggo for a second and turns to him and gives him a slight hug.
Knew you would do it. I knew it.
Out of the eyesight
okay.
of the rest of the team.
Yeah, and he makes it very quick, but a full encompassing one, and then I understand.
I'm proud of you, Uggo.
Missed you. Missed it. Say it again.
I'm proud of you. But I want you to stay safe, Uggo. I broke every rule we had to let you go. To urge you to go.
No one is safe anymore, Mama. Uggo's trying to fix it. No one is safe. I have seen such terrible things. If you've been to Oathwatch, don't ever go to Oathwatch. Don't ever go there.
Uggo, you do not have to fix it.
I
The
do.
world, the world is the world. Learn, observe. It is the best we can hope for.
You, I wish I could be. I wish I could just watch. But Uggo did so little for so long. He cannot sit by anymore. There are wrongs in this world that need to be righted. I know it is not your place, and I respect that, but it is Uggo's place now. We cannot let things like Brakka continue to destroy us. And by us, I mean everyone. Orcs are in trouble, but that is just small.
Yes.
If this problem is what Uggo think may be, we are already in trouble. We are already behind.
I fear the wrongs that are done in the name of righting them.
Is what Uggo struggles with most. But what is worse is doing nothing, in my opinion, Momma. I don't think you're doing nothing. I think you are observing, and that is good. The world needs knowledge. It can help those who want to do things. But sitting around and being idle and doing nothing.
I am not
That lets
idle.
me
I am
not.
anything but.
Referring to you, Momma. What about you? Talking about how Uggo would feel if he did not do this.
Uggo, what you have lived was monstrous.
No.
You know that. I have said this to you.
Yeah.
And I did everything I could to save you from it.
You did. You saved me, Momma. You do not know it.
And yet, here you stand.
Because in
With
saving
monsters,
me,
with monsters in your hands.
I must save myself! It is not the rest of the world I want to save. It is Uggo! I cannot do it alone. I tried, I failed. I thought I killed the thing. It did not die. It only changed and grew in me. And still to this day does. And the only way I can fix it is by facing the thing I fear most, which is killing Brakka. Do not want to do it. I am going to find a way not to. But I am also ready to accept that that may be the only course of action, and Uggo will accept consequences of such, even if that means Uggo must die. The things and people like Brakka believe. I want to believe that he can change. I want to believe that he does not want to watch the world burn. I want to believe that he just doesn't know. Like Uggo, he just doesn't know. He must be shown. And even if that is that Uggo must walk to him armless and hug him, to show him in his final act that he is killing someone who does not want him to die, maybe that will combat rage. Maybe that sacrifice, maybe that love. I have seen it in others, in my family, and the friends that come with me. Each one of them has sacrificed something in their lives. Or Uggo. They do not even know me. They did not even know. They know not what is in the chamber. They don't know. They don't know what's coming for them. Momma, have you heard of the Watcher's amulet? The amulet of the Watchers. Have you heard of the word Nonezaron? Do you know that there are time dragons? Entire dragons that convert time. Uggo has been in the past. I died and have returned. There is so much Uggo does not know, and there is so much that you do not know. And when Uggo learned that, Uggo knew. You are what we choose. Sorry, I got upset.
I did not appreciate you raising your voice,
Sorry.
but I understand. Get some rest, Uggo. And think. I know that you can.
Momma?
Yes, Uggo.
Sorry. Lesliana? I am proud of you too.
And why is that?
Because you have a code. Because you believe in things so strongly that you're willing to accept what anyone else might think about that. That is courage. That is bravery. And that is what I think about when I do the things that make people call me Uggo the Brave. It is you who inspires me. I used to think that humans were the best. They were better than Orc. But it's you who taught me that that is not true. That is just emotion, lie, Uggo, tell self, so that he cannot look inward, so that he cannot look at self. James told me I am the best human he has ever met. I don't know if I believe him, but I'm trying. And I'm trying because you showed me that it's possible. I'm gonna go talk to Buddy.
Uggo, I only observed what was already there. That is what I do.
Momma, what you don't see is that seeing that, someone else seeing in that, allowed Uggo to see it. That is why knowing things is so important. Because I have learned that without all of the information, or at least enough, you make wrong decisions. Or rather, decisions that hurt more than help.
Be with your friends. I am glad you found them.
Too.
I knew you would find a family.
Fahima, could you pull out the diagram, the schematic
Yes.
of Unfat's clockwork warden?
Yes, here it is.
Is there anything that could give away its location? Anything that could
The
could it
location
be
of
that they're constructing it?
no, it's just where they're ordering the parts from.
From Thorn?
Let me see what I wrote down here. This is
While you're doing that, let me just tell you that we got a gold potato from That's Wild Man. Thank you,
That's
That's
Wild
Man.
Really appreciate it. Puts
I mean,
Team
that
Force
is
of Good at
wild.
67%, Team Force of Evil at 33. Also a bunch of balloons. Calcutta Theed, Cat the Maid, Shiny 8-Bit Boo.
Wait,
Calcutta
what?
Theed
Calcutta
Mage is
Theed
in
gave us a
chat.
balloon?
We knew that she
no.
was watching.
She's always watching you guys.
She's trying to scry.
Scrying on us.
That Gamer Share with a whole bunch of balloons. Thank you, That Gamer Share.
Oh, thank
you.
Gamer Share.
Guys,
We have
fine.
we have a packing list, we have purchase orders, materials list, steel, wood, need for enormous amount of material.
Is there
some-
delivery?
Hey.
Is there a destination into any of these?
Jeff, if it's not something that you said, it's not on
There's
there.
There's no
right?
destination on there, no.
Okay. No.
It could be Ugdoon. If they're sending supplies to Ugdoon and other parts south, is what she said. So, I mean, south would be Daltothum and the war with the dwarves. But perhaps, I mean, with Grolago gone, Ugdoon maybe without a leader, so maybe Erdenfeld is running the show over there now. I don't know.
Isn't he building something big? Isn't that what that is all about, Erdenfeld?
Yes.
Yes, and we're just trying to figure out where.
Right. I think he's trying to build a warden. Yes?
Yes.
I'm personally a bit less concerned about where they're building it, because I think it's going to be built no matter what we do. I'm more concerned about finding out how to beat it, how to disable it.
Well, depending on how far along they are, we could find out. Maybe it could never be finished, but we have
It's true.
priorities.
How are we going to get Torvald out?
I was going to cast sending to him right now and see if we could get a better idea of his location if he knows.
Sounds like he's in
Possibly. The Under Fury.
Fury, not Belly.
Yeah.
And the Under Fury, we just know is a bad place.
It sounds like it is a religious site for the orcs, like it is a spiritual place. Perhaps it is where they do dark magic or sacrifices or something.
Or just a
Rituals.
place of combat.
It's curious they would keep Torvald alive, and that, if that's true.
He is bait.
He's
For
bait.
Uggo.
Correct.
That is why Diptha is probably, and I look to the side and I look back, and why Torvald is still alive.
I mean, this might not work, but if Uggo needs to face off with his brother in some sense, and I don't necessarily want to have that happen, could we not send a sending to him and state that Torvald needs to be alive?
Interesting.
You mean to lure Brakka out of the city?
Yes, say, oh, we know what you want, and you have something we want, which is Torvald and Diptha, but if they die, all bets are off.
He will know that we are here, which gives away the surprise, but I do like the idea of calling him out of that dark place so that we don't
If
have to
there's
go
no
inside.
way in there, it feels like we're going to have to find a way to get them out here.
Yes.
Well, additionally, if and when they catch wind that we're here, what reason do they have to keep Torvald alive? The bait has
True.
been used, so I think that's
True.
probably the right thing to do.
Well, the good thing is I'm not even sure we need to cast sending to Brakka because he had the earring last we tried it. Maybe we just used the earring. But let's cast sending to Torvald first, find out where he is, if he knows, and then we can start to. Because once we let Brakka know we're here, that cat's out of the bag. Sorry,
Yes.
Sid. So
I
we
like
should
the
I'm
idea
assu-
of using his anger against him, getting him so enraged that Uggo is here and that he is possibly going to challenge him, that he comes out of the city instead of us having to go into it.
Let me just say one thing. This is an idea from us, but I do think we need Uggo's complete consent in this situation because we're dealing with his brother.
totally.
Do we see any way out of this? Out of killing?
I think we've gotten out of killing lots of people before if we're clever.
I just
Yeah.
can't fathom continuing on with Uggo if he has to do this.
And I think the thing is, if we can outsmart Brakka if we can trap him in some way that doesn't necessarily kill him, I mean, that's the ideal situation, right?
And
Right.
Uggo walks in just as that last sentence is spoken, and all of you turn and look at him, and he stands there in the doorway, emotional, heavy, having heard that last sentence ring out about his brother. And that's where we're going to go to intermission.
I knew it.
Ooh.
We did get an evil yam in that last little bit from the
Ooh.
Of
Cosmic
course we did.
Lord. Thank you,
Oh,
Cosmic
Lord.
Lord.
Thank you, Cosmic
Thank
Lord.
So
you.
generous,
Ah.
which brings the tug of war much closer.
Wow.
Team Force of Good only 58%. Team Force of Evil 42%. Anyone's game. We will be back in just a short amount of time. Enjoy your intermission. Stick around. We'll see you soon. And we're back. Thank you so much for sticking around during intermission. And all the folks who've been giving us balloons and potatoes and yams over the course of the episode. We are so grateful. It feels like applause. Thank you. All right, so we are back into the game. We ended with Uggo rejoining his team as they try to figure out how to proceed in this most dangerous of situations.
Indeed. Shall I cast Sending to Torvald and at least see if he knows a little more about where he is?
Yes.
No.
Maybe he
ask
knows-
him about the grave.
The grave? Oh, of
Yes.
Nonezero?
Yes.
I could also try Whispering Sands if he's in an area of dirt or sand. And
True.
that would allow us to speak for much longer.
Okay, that's a good idea. I think we know where the grave of Nonezeron is, though. Uggo,
Where?
it's further west.
Jean, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So we know where I'm not sure. There will be time. If we do this right, there will be time to download everything.
I
with
thought
Torvald.
it was nearby.
For sure.
Uggo,
There's a lot.
do you know if he's in dirt or sand, where Torvald would be most likely?
Yeah, it's mostly like rock, right?
Rock
Or is it dirt?
and wet.
Wet.
Got it.
Well, let's see.
If it's the end of Fury, if that's what.
Yeah,
you're talking
yeah.
If
And
the
bean
target
bags. The orcs are really into big bean bags. It's like a no. Okay.
we can use areas of sand, dust, or ash. So if there's dust or ash,
Well, there's gonna be dust. I can't imagine
Very
orcs being
wet.
neat freaks.
would that? Do you think that's part of your spell, Jeff? Is if there's a
No,
coating of dust?
I'm not talking about. Yeah, I don't think you're talking about. Something that needs a little feather duster. I think we're talking about a
Dirt.
significant amount of
Goons.
granules of things is what we're looking for, right?
It's fine. I mean, well, let's start here. Let's try sending and then get at least
What-
what information.
What level spell is Whispering Sand? I don't even have it written down here.
Did you learn it? I don't know if you learned
I was attempting to learn it.
I'm gonna have to recall if you learned it because I feel like if you learned it, then I would have given you all that info. But if I didn't, maybe you didn't learn it.
I have the full spell.
Okay. If you have the
I-
full spell, then I gave it to you. But it doesn't say what level it is.
Uh-uh.
All right. Well, I think it's third. I want to say. I could be wrong. I'll have to look it up.
Okay. Because I could try. I do have many spell slots.
There is no sand near Torvald if he is in the Underfury.
It's fine. It's
Not
fine.
worth a try? Let me just try.
Okay.
Let me just
There's
try.
no spells.
It's practice, right? If it doesn't work, at least it's practice. So this takes one action to cast. The duration is 10 minutes. And you fix.
Does he get to answer?
Yeah, it's a full
Yeah,
conversation. Whispering Sands is a
we
full
can just-
conversation.
Oh, it is. It is. Okay.
Yeah, we can just. I mean, he could talk to all of us for 10 minutes if this works. So we'll see. The sand whispers your messages back and forth for the duration of your spell. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I think
Yeah, it's level 3. It's level 3.
level 3. Okay, so Fahima was attempting to learn this spell. I don't believe she's ever sat down and tried to cast it.
Should we
So
go outside? There's not much dirt and sand in here.
yes.
Okay.
So she'll find a place in the dirt where there's appropriate sand for her to cast the spell and sit down and begin to try to cast this spell that she saw the Ashen Mage cast in front of her.
All right. And you think back to that moment when the Ashen Mage dumped that brazier full of burnt embers on the ground and started swirling her hands in front of it and watching those ashes move in a swirling pattern. And you recall the thing that the Ashen Mage said to you as she looked up Riley, and she said, "This is not why I'm called the Ashen Mage." Remember?
What a cutie.
And you mimic that movement. You move your hand in that swirling pattern, and you watch as the grains of dirt that are there in front of, in this beautiful grotto with these dull colored crystals hanging from above and below. You're inside this geode, this sort of half circle, this shelf, a beautiful area with this vegetation all around and these sort of hanging vines far in the distance and the trickling water. And you start swirling your hands in front of the dirt, and it twists and turns in front of you, and you bring your hands up, and the sand continues to twist and swirl underneath you, and you focus on the image of Torvald in your mind. You're familiar with him, you know him well, you remember his beard and his clothing and how he looked. And you try to reach out and contact him, and it doesn't seem that there is any applicable substance to make contact.
Well, like I said, at least it was practice. Sending?
Yeah, I guess so. All right. I'll cast Sending to Torvald.
All right. 25 words or less?
Yes. On the outskirts of Thorn, not far away. Where are you? We know Brakka wants Uggo. Need to find solution.
And those words seep out of you into the ether, transforming into tiny bits of effervescence that seep out of your own body. And as you sit there for a second and wait, in a moment, you receive this message in your mind. Only you can hear it. And it is Torvald's voice, weak. Caged. Underground. Orcs. Dampness. Holding on. Be safe. Wish I could help more.
Uggo, is the Underfury actually underground?
Yes.
I think that's where he is.
Very deep.
He said dampness and orcs and underground. I think that's where he is.
Is in the Underfury.
The Underfury.
It may not be himself.
What do we need to be concerned about in the Underfury? What are the dangers?
Cannot tell you.
I'm sorry.
You mean you're unable? Uggo, there's no judgment here. We've seen the worst sides of each other, I think.
You don't understand.
Try, please.
Not go there, James.
Okay. Okay.
If we're going to rescue Torvald, we have to go. So
No.
we have to know what's there. We have to know what's dangerous.
Unless we lure him out.
Yeah, not necessarily.
If he wants Uggo that badly,
He will come out of his hidey hole.
Yes.
Unless...
What?
Brakka is very He is smarter than you, James.
Okay.
He is more cunning, tactical.
All right.
But he's not
We
smarter
may
than
be
you,
able-
Uggo.
By a mile.
Well, you outsmarted him for a long time.
Yet.
Well, but you together, and now you have us.
Why were you in the Underfury? Did you have to go there? Did you want to go there?
Is that where you killed your father? I'm sorry. I'm sure it's hard to remember. Difficult to think about.
It is dark.
All right.
It is wet. It's full of blood. It is full of anger and hatred. It is where we go to settle our deepest and darkest. The number of entrails I have seen on the ground. Played with.
How many ways in are there? Sounds hard to get in.
It is through Thorn. You must go through Thorn. It is at the heart. It is throne room.
So unless we go underground, we would have to pretend to be orcs. To
Yes.
me, it makes much more sense to lure Brakka outside of the city. Make him come to us. Make him come so that he does not have the advantage.
And do you think you would bring Torvald with him?
Yes.
If we tell him to.
yes.
We have what he wants.
If
We
you
have
want
Uggo.
Uggo, bring Torvald.
Seems that just playing devil's advocate here, it seems we might be underestimating his intelligence.
Yeah,
I
it won't
think
be
Uggo
easy.
has a plan.
What is
Okay.
it?
Family must give Uggo to Brakka.
What do you mean?
Must seem like against Uggo's will.
Okay.
Like we are trading you? Like you are a prisoner?
Yes. Trade Uggo.
And
Okay,
then how
then
do we get you back?
what's step 2?
Step 2 is you take Torvald and save planet.
No.
No.
No, different step 2 would be needed.
I don't mind step
Better to
1.
lose one of us than all of us. The Underfury will be our end.
How long was Brakka, how long did he have his magic when you were with him?
Not long.
It was fairly new then, okay. And
He
was
was
he doing,
when Uggo was.
was what?
No. We grew same time, same speed.
But he didn't have his magic, or did he always have his magic?
Don't know. He is very good at hiding things. I did not even know he had it.
Oh, really? What kind of magic did you see him do?
Poison.
Blood?
Poison Uggo. I do not know. I assume.
What if you challenge him? Challenge him for his throne, like he is afraid of.
Let's go to Underfury to do so.
Hmm.
It is
Why?
only legitimate there. Do not want to lead.
No, I'm not saying that you lead, but that would give us a.
Like, if we kill him and I combat him and I kill him, I will lead.
Why? Why?
That is how it works.
So you walk away. Let someone else lead. Let the orcs fight amongst themselves to decide who is the next chieftain.
The only way someone else becomes chieftain is if Uggo dies, if he is chieftain.
I agree with Fahima. I would
That is why
very
he's
much.
after me. I killed Rage Fist, and he knows it, and so does apparently everyone else.
I would very much like to avoid you having to fight or kill your brother. We
Also
may
want
have
to avoid this.
we may have to make it seem like that is what we're doing. But with some trickery or some strategic thinking, maybe we can figure out a way to turn the table.
Fahima, can
Yes.
you scry yet?
No. No.
Neither can I.
James, couldn't you go into his mind? Make him do something foolish? Enrage him, make him angry so that he comes out trying to kill Uggo?
I still have never really met him. Dream spell works because
He has earring,
right.
connected to one we have.
Possibly picturing the person being in their presence, I think has some significance. But I could send you a dream. I don't know if that's something you want to do, but that could actually be very useful.
See? Say this again?
I could send you into his dream.
Yes.
You could give him a nightmare.
Yes.
You could speak to him.
Yes, and then you could bait him. Say, come to me. Prove that you are who you say you are. Make him relive that moment where you kill your father in front of him.
Which is not a bad idea. At least it will give us more information.
Again, just playing the other side here so that we can see everything. What's to stop him from saying, no, you come to me, or I'll kill Torvald and Diptha right now?
Then he would be coward.
He might try to do that.
Yes, but if he does that, then we can start to tell orcs who he is, how weak he is.
Then
He would lose
Torvald.
all of his power. He would be the weak one.
Yeah,
He traded everything for Torvald just to get at Uggo.
right. This is good, Uggo.
He made an alliance with Ukdun just to get at Uggo.
Helps
And
that
what-
I am what he wants most.
Correct. And what did
So dangle bait in front of him.
what did Lesliana say that the orcs fear most? Weakness. And Brakka knows. He knows you are his weakness.
I like this
And
plan.
that is power. We can use that. Okay. Are you up to this?
And try. Candle Queen is with me.
If you are, would you like it to be a dream or a nightmare?
And it start one way and then I turn it the other.
Yeah, I think so. Jeff? I think it
think-
can
I think you can do the check anytime you want.
you can choose to become monstrous, basically. Yeah. But once you do that, you only have 10 words. And if they only if they fail the wisdom saving throw.
Okay. Yes. I am willing.
It is important, if it is working, that we give him a place to come to. Not here, obviously, because all these people would just be slaughtered. But a place outside of the city that he would know, and you could challenge him to come there.
Where?
Forest Tree. Family hunting grounds.
Good, good.
Tree.
Good.
And then what?
And then we attack.
You don't think he's going to show up with reinforcements?
Yes, But that is far better odds than fighting our way into a city and out with an old, frail man.
Oh, well, we have the belt.
True.
Quite capable of making tunnels.
So he needs to bring Torvald and Diptha, and he needs to come there.
If he wants
If he
Uggo,
can't.
yes. Yes.
Okay. This is a good start. As much as it scares me a little bit to do it, I could also ask the old ones for some information, because if they have as much power in this section of Ainz, it seems like they do. I think they're hiding things from me. So
what is the ultimate goal here? That we don't kill Brakka, that we convert him to our side, and that he stops working with Urtenford?
If we defeat him and keep him alive, no one will follow him.
And then who do they follow? You.
That's the biggest problem. That's the thing I'm worried about.
cross that bridge and we come to it.
We just need Torvald. We don't need anything else. Once we get Torvald, we can leave.
This is the other thing to keep in mind, Uggo, is that he is being used.
You understand. Yes, I think you're right.
I don't. I think if we don't either kill him or change his mind, he's going to continue to take people who are dear to us.
Yeah.
He will stop at nothing. This will just continue and cycle again and again.
Yeah. If we could... I want a world where we could talk your brother out of this.
James, can't you just suggest it?
I'll go.
I could try.
I'd love to not put you in a position to have to actually harm your brother. And I think you would like that as well. Is there a way to make it appear as though you are battling him, but it is us that are actually doing the damage? And not killing him, but just incapacitating him? But we make it appear as though it is you?
Oh, I can fight Brakka. I have fought him many times in life.
Yes,
I don't want to kill him.
right? But I'm saying if in an orc fight, correct me if I'm wrong, it's supposed to be one-on-one.
Correct.
So presumably the other orcs will not interfere. And as long as
we
as
have
long as we
experienced
don't
before.
interfere.
Yes.
But if we interfere, then they'll interfere.
Yes.
So if
Their
we could,
rage may make them interfere anyway. That is fear of under.
we can convince Brakka that the Candle Queen is greatly on your side now. And you hold powers within you that are far greater than him. And then with our powers combined in the spell casting that we can do, we make it appear as though you're doing that. And therefore not interfering with the fight as far as the orcs can tell, but giving you an advantage as far as taking it. Brakka on our side?
Following
It's
that
a-
train of thought, we could find out who his patron is. Right?
Assuming he has one.
Find out who the patron
sounds-
is, play on that.
How?
Maybe it's the same as James.
How?
I
Dream?
can ask.
That might be a question for the old ones.
Yep, I can ask. Well, I would prefer to do the dream spell first, if we're going to do that, because as we know, contacting the old ones can go wrong. And if it goes wrong, I'm not going to be much good for a bit.
I think it also makes sense to see if it is even going to work on Brakka. Because if he does not come out of the city, then we will have to come up with a different plan.
We'll have to do both, I think. I think I'll need to talk to the old ones, and Uggo should try to talk to Brakka through a dream, because I think we need more information, and we need to get the sense of...
Well, if the people that are here have been spies inside of the city, perhaps they will know more. We can always ask them as well what they know.
It didn't sound like they went inside the city, but no, I agree. I think they must know more information. Okay. Let's.
Jeff,
Yeah.
Uggo's been avoiding it a lot.
Ron, your mic is real low.
What's going on?
It sounds like it's adjusting the volume on its own.
Yeah,
That might
or
be
or
it. That might have been. Hold on.
Ron, you're feeling distant.
This is a good opportunity for me to tell you about a couple of gold potatoes that came in recently. We got 2 gold potatoes for X War Pig 22. Thank you, X War
Yeah.
Pig 22.
Wow.
And our old friend Mom of Goblins. Thank you,
Yay.
Mom of Goblins.
Ah, yeah.
Which brings
Cheers, Mom.
Team Force of Good to 67% and Team Force of Evil to
Ooh.
33%.
Wow.
Is that better? Is that
A little
better?
bit. A little bit.
How's that? Is that
There
better?
you go.
Way better.
There you go.
Sorry about that. I don't know what's
That's
going
okay.
on.
Now you're back.
now you're
now you're loud.
Now
now you're a
loud.
little loud.
I'll take loud over soft.
Yeah, right.
I'll bring it down. How's
Yeah,
that? Better?
perfect,
There you go.
perfect.
Very good.
Cool. Sorry about that. Jeff, Uggo's been avoiding it.
Yeah.
Not trying to think of the. He's been avoiding it most of his life, actually. Most of since it happened.
Yeah.
Very few times he's gone back to this moment. I think this might. He's getting the feeling that he has to, especially from the line of questioning from James. He's going to try to recall because the things are a bit fuzzy for him.
Yep.
He's going to try to recall the last moments and how he escaped the Underfury,
Mm-hmm.
and try to recall if there was some other way in, how he got out of the Underfury unscathed or without being captured.
Right. Roll me a history check. You have advantage from a jar full of bees.
Ooh, thanks. I mean that's if you're gonna get advantage, you might as well,
Get it from a jar full of bees.
Don't forget the force of good.
That's like
Oh right.
Well, I mean, see how you do first, I guess.
Remind
but,
me the phrase. I've forgotten the phrase. I've forgotten it.
It's
Phrase the
nice.
time for
pace.
some official goofballing.
Yeah, thank you.
If it's timing for some shovel, go with balling, baby.
Yeah.
Wow.
Beebaloo.
That is Beebaloo.
Oh,
that was
it.
Okay, so without the Beebaloo die, it is
Beebaloo
a
die?
17.
Yeah.
Ron understood the assignment.
Mostly I was saved because you didn't seem to, but I understood the same what you did. I was trying to think of like
You
I gotta
did?
trick him. Yeah, I thought it just sounded like you did. So
What?
yeah. But then you got it right, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, then plus 4, so 21.
21. All right. So you all watch as Uggo gets really quiet and starts to think back. And Uggo, you see a swirl of images in your mind of light and darkness, of pain. You feel pain. You remember that. You remember seeing these forms, these 3 spectral forms, these different sizes that now you seem to feel are so much more familiar to you than they were then. And you feel this cold, this chilled touch, these hands scooping you up. It doesn't make any sense. It's just flashes of images and sensations of this cold touch, this feeling of being moved and pushed, of unable to breathe, unable to think clearly, this pain, this extreme pain, and this choking poison, this infestation in you.
Uggo activates his rage, and he brings forth the ancestors.
And the 3 of you see, or the 5 of you see these 3 forms as you've seen, I think only once before, but you've seen it on the battlefield a number of times. This female orc, this male orc, or this male human, and this giant orc-like creature all just appear behind Uggo as Uggo is leaned over, sweating, and pulse, his arms tense, his muscles bulging, his veins popping.
Tell me! Let me see it! Stop protecting me! Uggo is ready! Show me!
He's looking directly at the big one.
Yeah. Steps forward, this huge presence. This astral mist kind of seeping off of this form, this translucent form of this incredibly muscular creature. Must be 7 feet tall, 7.5 feet tall. It's huge.
We saved you because we had to, Uggo. Why? Who? What? There are more things in this world than orcs know. There are more things in Thorn than orcs should have. Thorn is rage. Yes, but who save Uggo? Who show Uggo way out? Need to find way in. Uggo. Show Uggo. Way out. Way out. Was deeper. Way out. Was through.
He looks at, Uggo looks at the female orc that represents his emotional context, safety, so on. He says, "Who are you hiding? Why are you hiding from me? Why are you protecting me like this?" You are important, Uggo. Brakka knows too. Brakka told. And with that, Uggo drops his rage.
You all right?
No, I am not all right, but I am alive, if that is what you mean.
What did you learn?
I got out by going deeper.
All right. Does that mean there's a back way, a secret, deeper entrance into the Underfury?
It's dark, Gene. It's dark. I want to know, not remember.
Okay.
It's part of why I feel like I must go.
Can we use the belt?
Will the belt
Maybe.
be able to take all of us?
WWTAMD. What would the Ashen Mage do?
Kill us all?
She would
Lay waste.
just make a giant tunnel.
Okay.
I don't know
That
about digging
bypasses
a huge
Thorn.
tunnel into some dark evil place.
Only if Uggo can say that going deeper was the way out.
Interesting. If we show up in Underfury, and the other orcs are not aware that we are there, he cannot afford to kill me.
Interesting.
Because there is no one to witness.
Would
No.
he not
Well,
have
He
people
may
with him?
have, yes. He may.
But you got out. So that means there is a way.
Yes, but I do not recall. I cannot remember.
Okay. All right. But that's something. That's something. That's something.
I went deeper. That is, I went through.
I think we need to start to plant seeds with Brakka. I think we should do the dream spell. I think he needs to know. I think we need to start to taunt him, even a little bit. Yes?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
another question. What if we lured Brakka out and then tunneled in and got Torvald while Brakka was not?
Luring him out won't be easy, but I mean, if you think you can get him out, I think that's a great
And then we
idea.
can tunnel into the Underfury, pick up
That
Torvald
may
and
actually
get
be
them.
better idea. Then Torvald is in less danger.
And everyone's in less danger, and you don't have to fight Brakka, hopefully. So
Would that be embarrassing enough, you think? For him to lose a bit of power? Because again, my worry is that he'll just keep taking people who are close to us, but if he loses power, that makes me feel a bit better.
I
If
think
he
also
loses
if
the
we
one
can-
thing that Ukdun gave them without a fight, it would be embarrassing.
Oh, Uggo, I have a really good
That's a very
idea
good
if we
point.
do that.
Mm.
You know what you should leave in the cage?
What?
Two crustacean hammers.
All right.
Oh, Ron, you have some?
Glow in the dark, you can't see it.
Oh, those are so cute.
All right. One step at a time. I think we need to gather information, and then we'll know more. Okay?
Hold on. If we are reaching out to Brakka, if we don't tell him to bring Torvald, then we need to know that we can get into the Underfury. Right?
I think that's where you start. I think that's where you start is try to lure him out and to bring Torvald and see if that's even
But don't bring Torvald then, right?
That is
Well,
what I'm saying. It is two
But if he
different plans.
brings Torvald, then we don't have to go into the Underfury, and that's really what I don't want us to do.
But you do have to fight Brakka in that situation.
Yes.
So which one is less?
He knows that if he kills Uggo outside of the Underfury, he does not take control. He would want to fight me in Underfury. He may
Okay.
not come out at all.
Okay.
I don't know. He's,
No, I know.
according to Momma, acting different than the Brakka I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Which
not
is why
much
I was
different, but
saying maybe if we
different.
could lure him out, because he might be more rash in his decisions without Torvald, and then we could get Torvald from the Underfury. But
We'll try. We'll
If-
try to
Okay.
haunt him.
Yeah.
Just
And
want to
use
say
his
we got a gold potato. Sorry to interrupt. Ms. Rainbow Frizzle. Thank you for the gold potato. I
Hey, thank
appreciate
you.
that.
Thank you, Ms. Rainbow.
70%
Wow.
from Team Force of Good.
oh,
Appreciate that.
I think, yes, use his weaknesses against him. Use his rage against him. Okay?
Yes.
All right.
I'll go.
If everyone
I'll
else wants to go to sleep.
I just take Uggo's hand. I'll be right here while you do this, okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
Siv,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
For what?
I did not listen to you.
You have to make your own choices. I wish you well with your brother.
Okay.
Mima,
Yes.
you're incredible.
So are you.
Lily, I love you.
I love you too.
James, I love you too.
Love you too.
Will you be able to see what happens?
No,
Okay.
but you can end it at any time.
Okay.
All right, lay down.
Wait, I just had an idea.
Yes.
If he serves the same patron you do, would he sleep?
We'll know in a moment.
Okay.
I had the same thought. We'll know in a moment.
That's their thing. They just don't let people sleep.
It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
All right. I'll
It's just what
sarcastically-
James says is from, I don't know.
Yeah,
All right.
no, just
So
I'll
Uggo lays
start-
down,
Yeah.
and James, as he has done a number of times now, sits a little awkwardly close to Uggo.
Yeah, this feels weird. I don't know if
There's
Sid
Adam.
would stay. I think I would probably go for a walk or something. It just feels weird
like-
to be here.
All right.
You know what I'll do? I'll go talk to the people in this commune village and see if they know anything more about, Brakka's whereabouts, or if they know where he might be kept in. Actually, that would be really good if any of them have actually been inside the city and they can tell us, map wise where the Under Fury is and where the prisoners might be held and all that jazz. If I could find anybody that knows anything about that, that'd be great.
Okay.
Great.
While you are doing that, you can roll me a, I guess what, like a diplomacy check would be good, or
Straight charisma, I guess. I don't know.
yeah, straight charisma sounds fine, or persuasion, or
Okay. Which do you prefer?
let's do persuasion.
Okay.
And you have advantage from kitty scritches.
Kitty scratches. Perfect.
How appropriate.
Well, that's an 18 plus 7 is a 25.
All right, we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
So, Uggo, you lay back and you close your eyes. Roll me a perception check. You have advantage from kitty scritches as well.
Okay. Ooh, thank you, Kitty Scritches. Nat 20 again.
That's
Wow.
All right.
Your dice.
So
my
as-
It's
gosh.
homebrew. Homebrew it.
Uggo, as you lay back and you start to close your eyes, you see something you've seen a couple of times before. A brief moment. One frame of a film.
Oh no.
A black outline where James once was. Just for the briefest of seconds. And James, I'm going to need you to join me in the secret room.
Because he leveled up. He leveled up. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, you are brilliant.
So, James, if you can join me in the secret room, please. Sean,
Hi,
hopefully you're ready
everybody.
for that.
Hi.
James, as you begin this process of starting to cast the dream spell, all of a sudden, a moment, and you are in a place you have been a number of times. Blackness all around you. This empty, cold feeling in your bones. In front of you, a swirling blackness. Blackness on blackness. And you hear all around you resonating. James Quillis, I see you. I notice you. I have given you more. I have
improved you, removed your weaknesses. You asked me 5 questions, and I answered. Now, I ask for something in return. You must know. Not all who lurk in the darkness heed the same master. Not every warlock deserves their power. Use what I have bestowed upon you to assert your place. Destroy the pretender. Kill in my name those who would take from us.
You mean Brakka?
Yes. Destroy the pretender.
Can you see me at all times? Hear me at all times? Do you know what I'm thinking?
You are mine. But I will always reciprocate. I give you what you need. More power to do with as you wish. I ask so little, James Quilly. So little.
I can't.
You must. I have freed you from the bonds of weakness, given you more time, given you more ability. You must fight for me.
The demons that are ravaging the land, are they your doing? No?
Stolen.
How can I stop them?
Any way you wish. You have my blessing.
And it drops her out of it. And And we are out of the secret room. Back. And James, for you, it was this time, but for everyone else, it was a split second, and only Uggo, only you, noticed that single flash of darkness where James once was. It is almost imperceptible, but with your natural 20 roll, you are certain that this thing that you have seen, you've been the only one to see. You see it again. Just as your eyes are about to close and you're about to surrender yourself into this dream state.
Wait.
Huh? What?
What's wrong?
Surrogate was just here.
What?
I saw him!
What?
What?
I saw him! He looked like James, but shadow. It was just like when we were in the basement, when you talked to Kid.
Yeah.
What he say? What it say?
The old ones are not a united force. At least I don't think so. It sounds like Brakka and possibly the other orcs that are harnessing their power are doing so. He referred to them as it's stolen. The power is stolen.
Olin?
Yeah. I also said the power that generated and brought the demons here as well was not their doing, and that was stolen as well.
Wow.
So that's more information that we can use against Brakka, I think.
Wait, did you cast the spell where you were allowed to ask questions?
No. Apparently I get some free visits every now and then, you know.
Did he say you could sleep again?
He didn't. I suppose I could try at some point.
Didn't ask about it?
No, he continued to assert that I feel like he's proud of me, which is a feeling I'll unpack later.
Well, he clearly can hear us if he just visits whenever you cast spells.
He can.
Well, if you're listening, Surrogate, don't hurt James, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm trying to be more respectful to things that are way more powerful than me.
Yes.
Did he say anything else?
No.
Are you telling the truth?
I mean, he did say other things. He said, that he has more power for me, that he can do more, and that I can continue to use it as I wish.
But
Without naming a price?
it always comes with a price, right?
I think he wants me to stop. It wants me to stop those stealing it. Whatever is generating this in this area, I think he won't think it wants me to get to the bottom of it.
It seems our goals align for once.
Yeah, don't know how I feel about that.
Might
Keep
be a
your
nice
friends close,
reprieve.
keep your enemies closer.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to know that they're not causing the demons, and this is trustworthy, I assume. Not.
I don't know why.
Information.
I don't know why they would lie to me.
Really?
Yes, they
They
seemed
hold-
very forthright so far.
That might be a step too far, but yeah. Anyway, let's do the dream spell, please.
Okay.
No, I'm
Seems
sorry.
a
I'm
lot.
sorry. No. It
No,
is a lot.
you don't need
It
to
is a-
apologize. I just want to make sure you're okay.
James, what is wrong? Something is wrong with you. You are acting
I-
strange.
I don't like feeling like this.
So give it up. You choose to continue. If you don't like it, then stop. If you do, then continue.
I think it's perfectly natural that the more powerful we get, the more interest we are going to. The more those in power will take interest in us and offer us power. And we just have to do our best to stick with one another and to remind ourselves why that is the right thing to do.
Source of power is important, though. Such as rage from orcs is not a good source of power.
Mm-hmm.
That is what Uggo has learned. I chose rage. I choose it. Every time I do it, it's a choice. Took me a long time to realize it. But I don't complain anymore. I accept the consequences that come with it.
While we don't know the exact direction that we're headed in, it does seem like the 5 of us being together is the right thing, and we're more powerful together. There's something with us being all together, so
Agreed.
it's okay. It's okay to be tempted and to consider
Yes,
it.
but I just want
Hell, even live it out in your brain.
honesty. You seem hesitant. That is all. I've said it to you many times. You need not fear. Just be honest.
Thank you.
Surprising no one, we got an evil yam just now. Shiny 8-bit boo. Shiny 8-bit boo. Thank you for the evil yam. Also a couple of balloons from Shiny 8-bit boo. Thank you.
Aw, thank you.
So that brings the force of good only to 58%, force of evil 42%.
Wow.
Ooh-wee.
Ooh. All
I
right.
don't want it.
You ready to do this dream spell now?
Do
I am.
it.
I am.
Okay. I am ready.
All right. So, if I recall, since James, you are casting this with Uggo as the
Messenger.
Uggo, you get to form the spell, right? You get to form the place. You get to decide how it looks, how it smells, how it sounds. So tell me the dream that you are forming for Brakka and yourself.
There's a campfire in the middle of a cave. It's warm. On it, cooking a leg of some animal, deer, most likely. Uggo is sitting at the campfire, watching the leg turn on a little wooden spit. To his left is where his mother sleeps. Her things lined in a row. The wolf-toothed dagger that she often would craft and make for her little ones, that they would then lose in their hunting trips. She would always scorn them for it, but she always smiled about it. These are the memories that Uggo is replaying, these dreams, this favorite memory he has. Across the fire on the other side of the spit, sitting, is Brakka. And through the flame, Uggo looks at him.
Uggo, you have formed this dream, and you have placed the Brakka that you remember in it. But somehow, some way, that is not the Brakka that you see in front of you. It is clearly Brakka, but he looks different. Pale. His skin almost translucent. A hood hangs low over his eyes. which are deep set and hollow, not the alert, wise eyes that you remember so clearly. This Brakka seems darker, shifted somehow. Almost, it reminds you, Uggo, of seeing a body when you were young that had drowned. But this Brakka sits and stares back at you in this dream.
Who are you?
You do not recognize your brother.
I see the shell of my brother. What have you done? What has been done to you?
I am the leader now. And you will not take it from me.
I don't want it. You can have it. That isn't what I want.
Then come and give it.
Do you not remember? Do you not recall, Momma?
I remember a weak woman.
Someone like you would know weakness. You live with it daily.
I am staring at it now.
Only those who are weak talk such words. If you want me, then come find me. If you want me so bad, if this is what you're for and what you want now, I know you are not alone. I know there is someone you are answering to.
Oh, foolish Uggo. You think there is nothing more powerful than orcs. I am wise. I know who to align myself with. I have what is yours, Uggo. You are too weak to come get it.
It is you who are too weak to come take it from me. That you want. You hide in your hidey hole, like a coward. Come out into the open. Meet me at the tree. You know the one I speak of, Momma's tree. Where we buried her, together you and I, crying in the...
I want to show them all who is more powerful once and for all. I thought you were dead, but you crawl and scrape and whine.
And I remind you of how you failed. You tried to kill me when I wasn't looking, coward. The reason you are so giving yourself to whatever it is foolish errand you're running is because you're afraid. Because you know that I am stronger than you. And you know that you had your opportunity to take me out and you failed.
Quiet!
Yeah, I see you, Brakka. You know why I see you? Because I am you.
You will never be me. You don't have the strength.
I'm already you.
Jeff, I activate divine. I'm going to activate to test. I'm testing to see if he is a demon or a fiend or a celestial.
Okay.
I'm activating. I don't know if I can do that in a dream.
In a
I was going
dream,
to try to pull it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can do that, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, he's going to try to pull it. Divine sense.
Right. And in your dream, you are reaching out. You're trying to push through and figure and touch the Candle Queen. It is this strange dream state you're in where you're not in touch with all of your faculties. You're not able to use the feeling, the connection that you've achieved with the Candle Queen, and you can't quite activate your spells. You can't know for sure.
Brakka, if you want me, then come to the tree. Bring whoever witnesses that you need, but they will not interfere. You want this fair? Then we will do it where Momma died.
You spit on our sacred place. You always...
And you spit on... Fight me in the open. Let everyone see how you have failed.
You are
And then
no
if you can,
orc.
take it from me.
One.
Fine.
And then I turn it into a nightmare. And Uggo grows as large as he can into what looks like his mother. And he looks down.
I have a save.
Yep, you do.
Wisdom save 16.
I also have advantage from AJ McLeod countered by Fendaril.
Thanks both.
Wisdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
19.
Ah!
You mock. You play silly games. I talk of strength. You are no orc.
I am more orc than you ever knew. I am more orc than you will ever know, because I will end your life. Now meet me at the tree, coward!
And then I try to leave the dream.
All right.
I hang up on my brother.
And James, you see Uggo sit bolt upright in front of you.
Yes, Strum. There's something wrong.
I don't know if we've ever actually described this, Jeff, but I guess we should. Brakka looks like the identical twin of Uggo.
Correct.
They look exactly alike.
That's not what you saw in that dream.
That isn't not what I saw, correct? But the others, yeah. Well, you said I could tell it was me, so or I could tell it was Brakka, so that's why I kind of.
Yes. No. It looks like if you were drowned. You look in a mirror, but you saw a body that was drowned.
Yikes.
Bloated, transparent almost, skin sickly and pasty, that kind of look.
Are you identical? Are you twins or just brothers?
We will talk about that when you see him.
If you see him.
We look identical according to, as far as for the audience, we look identical as far as they can go.
Yes.
Did it work? What do you think? Are you all right?
No. Something has control of him. He looked as if he had been drowned, but strong.
If what Shelthrigot said is true, he's trying to harness a wild power that wasn't given to him. So I'm not sure maybe something has control of him, but what seems more likely is he's been corrupted by a power that he doesn't totally understand.
I imagine
James?
drinking demon blood would do that.
Are the old ones homogenous, or are there different sort of elemental variances in them, like the wardens?
Puts out diction.
Oh,
Oh, I know that one. Mama told me that one.
I think, based on what Shelthrigot just said, I think that I can't tell necessarily if there are warring factions or if it's more that there are some who try to abuse the power and harness it for their own goods, and therefore don't have the sort of approval, which, I mean, I probably was for a little while, and now, hey, I'm a favorite child.
The looking drowned is curious to me.
Yeah.
So it could signify.
Why?
something. Could be an old one who has connections to the deep.
Ah. Interesting.
Just
Possibly.
throwing it out there.
Just want to mention we got 2 more evil yams, both from Shiny 8-Bit Boo. Thank you, Shiny 8-Bit Boo. We're literally at 51% force of good, 49% force of evil. Shiny 8-Bit Boo doing that work, crawling back. Thank you, Shiny 8-Bit Boo. That's incredible.
Knowing what we're dealing with right now, and that's what you do to us?
Evil. They love it. They love that evil.
I love it.
Team
I
evil.
love it for you. I love you for it.
Team Force of Evil wants that evil.
I think everyone should get some sleep.
All right. So Civ, meanwhile, during all this, has
Yeah.
been
That's
dealing
right.
with.
So glad I was not there. So glad.
So you have been chatting up a number of the other researchers at this facility.
Hey.
Yeah, and you have found out a lot of pretty interesting information, including Uggo's description of where they believe the Underfury is. None of them have been to it. Several have been inside, as Lesliana described to you. They shapeshift into animals that are useful to the orcs.
Sure.
And insinuate themselves into places where they can observe the daily life. That's kind of their methodology for trying to keep tabs on what happens inside the walls. And so a number of them have a fairly good sense of what the city, how the city is structured. And yeah, the Underfury seems to be centralized in the city. It is, as Uggo described, analogous to a throne room or a centralized location, the most important place in the entire city. And you
what I
can
would
march
like to
down
do-
the center
yeah.
of the city and get to it, basically.
Sure. What I would like to do then, since they haven't actually been inside of it,
right?
The second best piece of information I think I could gain from this is I'll literally take a piece of paper and sketch out parts of the city based off of their descriptions. So if they're saying the Underfury is in the center, maybe the barracks are over in the northeast, and maybe the merchants are in the southwest, and the butchers in the north. Blah blah blah. I want to create as much of a map of Thorn as I can off of all of their tidbits, and I'll literally show them what I'm drawing so that they can be like, no, it's not there, and it's not that big, or it's smaller and it's over here. Yeah.
And the thing that you notice is how interested they are in relaying information to you. As soon as you show any kind of eagerness to find out things that they know, there is this, oh no, that's not quite right. Oh, over here, check that out. Look at no, erase that. There is a commitment to getting it right and to detail that you find, and you're able to get a fairly accurate sense of how the city is laid out.
Yeah, the layout. Okay. Do they also have any sort of rumors or gossip or anything that they have heard amongst the orcs as far as what is going on with Brakka? Like, are the orcs even aware that Brakka is going down this dark path, and what do they think about it, and what are the rumors revolving around that situation?
There is a lot of disagreement within the researchers themselves as to how important this development with these new demon creatures showing up are, and how much they should be devoting their energies to studying it, because of how the orcs seem to be preoccupied with it. By the way, I should say there's a balloon war going on right now between Team Force of Good and Team Force of Evil. The Dungeon Run Yay and Shiny 8-Bit Boo and 2O Mask 6603, they're all like throwing balloons down to try to nudge it over. The Team Force of Good is still at 54%. And Team Force of Evil is still
Whoa.
46%. But and
Wow.
that gamer share came in with a gold potato.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
huge that gamer share.
Wow, thank you.
my goodness.
Thank you.
We have Tommy with a gold
Gamer
potato.
Force of good.
Team Force of Good will not be denied tonight. Amazing.
Wow.
Thanks,
That's very
guys.
generous. Very generous. Thank you. Anyway, so the the idea here is that all of the latest developments with regard to the orcs seem to be wrapped up in these new creatures that now they are demons that they're dressing like, that that they're hunting, that they're involved with. Yeah.
Right. So what are the orcs' thoughts on the demons then? Like the common orc, the regular,
Yeah.
Joe the plumber orc.
Yeah.
What's his thoughts on these demons and what's happening in and around the city?
Go now to Joe and Susan Orc on the
a lot of demons out here. No, there is this is a society built on allegiance to a strong leader,
Right.
and therefore there is very little vocalized disagreement with what the leader has so anybody observing that community would not hear a lot of
I see.
criticism. That
Right.
is not
So the
put up
orcs
with,
are all pretty much on board with this. Let's go kill the demons, skin the demons, battle the demons.
As far as the researchers are able to determine, I mean, not all of the orcs wear demon skins, so that is something that could relate to you. We've got another gold potato from X War Pig 22.
Oh my goodness.
Team Force is
Whoa.
good. Team Force is good.
Whoa.
Rocking. So that they could certainly relate that to you, that not all of them are dressing in the same way or wearing these skins as you've observed, but enough of them are that it seems to be directed from the most powerful orc in the community.
I see. Okay. Is there anything else that they share with me besides that?
No, I think that covers it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'll head back to where we're staying for the night.
Okay.
With that information.
All right.
You will not believe what is everyone all right? Why are you
No.
all?
A lot's happened.
Uggo looks sweaty, and
That's nothing new.
Sweatier than normal, I think you're saying.
yes, and James has big bags underneath his eyes, and Lily and Fahima are very quiet. Did I miss something?
A couple things. Shasragat was here, and we didn't all see
Just with James.
them. Yeah, with James.
Per
but
the
I
just-
saw him
usual.
too. I saw him too.
Oh, yeah.
What did he want?
Just to
Just-
check in.
Just to check in. Gave me
Yeah.
some
Do
information.
I need to
about-
make an inside check on Lily? What's going on here?
Just some information. It was totally free of charge. Just came in here and was like, "Hey,
Well, James, would you like to
Mhm.
elaborate?
Well, no, I mean, I think I can relay everything that I told everybody else, but yeah, I mean, I think that the old ones, at least Shofragot, would very much like us to suss out how Brakka and the other orcs are using the old one's power, because it seems they're not doing so with the permission, so to speak.
They
So-
want us to stop Brakka from using their power?
I think if we could find a way to stop the source, that's but
Which
at least it.
is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly,
Yes.
if we can make Shothrgot happy and make ourselves happy, it's a win-win.
Well,
What?
yeah.
I just look over at Uggo and Lily. Are you
I'm a
guys
little
just
bit
nodding your
with-
head?
I'm a little bit with Sid on that one.
Uggo looks numb, dude. Uggo looks like I'm barely standing, buddy."
Oh, all right. Well, I have a map of Thorn that I recreated, and it seems very unimportant now after everything that you have said.
I'll
but-
go had a
I
dream.
grew up
with-
there. I know the city.
Yes, I know, but I thought if there was any way that I could use this information to share with everyone else in case
They
something
have
happens.
also changed cities since gone.
Right.
Yeah, but
Mm.
good.
It is also something we could use for a strategy if we are trying to break into the Underfury to release Torvald. Yes?
Right. Right.
Just
Did
had
it
a
work? Is he going to come out and fight you?
thought. He seemed pretty upset, and when I called him coward, he got really angry. And
Good.
I think I poked him in the right places. I don't know if he'll
Good.
come. I didn't say anything about Torvald.
So he
Because I-
probably won't bring Torvald then. We will have to go in to get him.
Probably.
Is there a
Maybe.
way?
He may be smarter than that. I don't know. But I did not make Torvald a big deal as to not make him suspicious.
Sure.
Give it away. Yeah.
Is there a way to pinpoint where he is?
Right now?
I'm looking at the two mages and even Lily. Is there any way to figure out where he is specifically?
There are spells, but nothing that I'm thinking of that I have.
I mean, I have the earring.
But doesn't Brakka have the other earring?
He does.
Should we do
Torvald-
some reconnaissance before we do anything?
Yes.
I talked to the people inside of this village, and they said that they assume the form of animals, as you know,
Mm.
and pretend to be of service to the orcs. So mules, horses, wolves, dogs, whatever. So perhaps if
Lily-
there is a way for us to pretend to
that.
be an animal or an orc, we could get inside of the city for a while.
Lily, seeming lasts for 8 hours, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Seeming is transmutation or an illusion?
Well, transmutation, I think. I
It's an
don't know.
illusion.
It's illusion, yeah.
It doesn't actually change us. It just.
Yeah.
It just.
Oh, right. I don't know schools of magic.
I just sing and it comes out.
I just
I'm just a
learn things.
bard, baby.
Yeah.
You've described every bard ever. I just
You
sing
don't
and it
have
comes
to
out.
learn your magic. I get it.
But the issue with it is the size situation.
Can you make
could-
someone look like an animal instead of a person?
We have to have the basic limb layout.
Oh, the limb
Well-
layout.
I could
So-
polymorph at least two.
What, into what though? I'm gonna become smart. Like, oh, that's actually. Oh no, I'm smarter now.
Well, there are smart beasts, I'm sure.
Like
You could just be a.
there's-
monkey.
could just
I
be
mean,
a-
I can be a monkey.
May I ask, are we asking so we could get into the city
Yes.
as disguised?
Observe.
giant goat? No.
It's in the mountains. I don't know.
Well, I think, yes, we would definitely want to be very crafty about how we did that. Just
Mhm.
because, again, it doesn't hold up to inspections. So we want to make sure we're pretty close to our actual body sizes.
Right. Well, you could be an orc child, and the rest of us could be orcs. You know. Yeah.
Yeah, the rest of us could be orcs.
That's a stretch.
I'll go. I'll disguise you as a different orc.
Yes.
Yeah, I
I'll
figured.
disguise you to look like Brakka.
Then he would look, but then I don't look different.
Don't
Oh.
do that.
Right.
Oh, right.
So is Brakka going to come out of the city tomorrow?
We did not set a time. It's not really how it works with orc. You go, "Bah, bah, bah," and he goes, "Bah," and then things happen. So I assume usually after something like this, next day.
I see.
So we should tomorrow go to the spot.
Well, it is a day away. That is what his human mama said.
Uggo
So if we are
regrets
going
not
to go
ex-
into the city tomorrow morning, we would have to leave now.
I now regret not specifying date and time.
No RSVP.
Call him back. Gonna follow
I
up.
think
mean,
you guys could get there in less than a day. It's not a full day's travel.
Right.
It is the kind of thing where
We also have the birds and a bear and a horse.
The researchers tend to go, travel there and arrive in time to, it doesn't take a full day of travel to get there.
I assumed as soon as I told Brakka where we would meet, he would send spies or something to watch. So as soon as we arrive, he will know we were there. Unless we're invisible or whatever. Yes.
Uggo, what? If we run out of options and you're face to face with Brakka, how do we not kill him?
We don't stab him. I don't smash him over the head with a maul. That is how we don't kill him. I'm confused by question.
I guess I'm just trying to think of
Confuse him, we debilitate him, we put him in a big hole that he can't get out of.
That's what I was thinking.
We didn't kill Grolago. We are capable of not killing everyone.
True. Very true.
Correct. We did not kill Grolago.
I say this and like a little snake head comes up between my collar and I push it back down before anybody sees it.
Which, by the way, one more, I'll go, just in case we get separated, would you mind signing my book?
The one that...
the one that Fahima and Civ signed. It will allow me to contact you with sending, no matter, as many times as I like, no matter, I don't need spells.
So Shothergott will know my name.
I don't want to freak you out, but I guarantee he already does.
So the yes is the answer? Good, because I want him to, so give it to me.
Okay.
He will know the name of Uggo Ragefist.
Great.
Wait a minute. Am I making a deal with Shothergott?
Not at all. Not at all.
Am I making a deal with you?
You're making a deal in that I will be able to contact you with a sending spell whenever I want.
Oh, that's great. So I don't need to sign in blood?
No blood.
Okay,
See,
good.
I asked that question too.
Yeah, it's the first question. It is the first question.
I'm gonna reiterate that you two are both way too willing to poke yourself and bleed when it's not necessary.
It's just not necessary.
Look,
Blood is very necessary.
It's a replenishing renewal of
Blood is necessary inside your veins.
Then why do people lose it all the time?
They're not trying to. Why do you get scared when someone's losing blood?
All right, so everybody, Uggo signs the book, and everybody heads to bed here inside this unusual habitation. This place built into this grotto, built in within striking distance of Thorn. And as you all lay down to rest, finally, everyone except James, who lays awake in bed, energized, unable to drift off to sleep. But even James, awake, feels this strange sensation, almost a stirring inside each of you, an agitation, a faint feeling of just getting mad. And that's where we'll end tonight.
What?
I like it.
These cliffhangers.
If I haven't said it enough,
Say it again.
Jeff.
Say it
Jeff,
again.
I love you, bro.
Ah,
Love you, man.
So
You got an
good.
amazing
So
brain,
good.
and I'm so. We are all so gifted. We are also blessed by your gift.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
It's true.
Ain't no compliment like a self-congratulatory compliment. No, I appreciate it. It's very sweet of you. It's very sweet of you. And very sweet of all the folks who have been giving us this generous amount of potatoes and yams
Thank
and
you.
balloons. It looks like Team Force of Good hung on with it. That last salvo from Team Force of Evil really came in at the end and tried to clutch it, pluck it away in the last second. But Team Force of Good, 59%. Team Force of Evil, 41%.
We're gonna
Thank
need
you
that if
so
we're going
much
into
for
the
that.
Under Fury.
Oh, the Under Fury. Wow. what a place.
I'm sorry there wasn't more opportunity for everybody to roll and use the card this week. It was a fun one.
I was going to do the Duke of Winkberg.
Hey!
Yeah.
Fun.
And I didn't roll dice, though. I think I rolled one die.
I know, I didn't roll at all.
Yeah. As you know, Team Force of Good and Team Force of Evil are also Patreon tiers that we have at patreon.com/thedungeonrun, which is how the show is made possible. We are super grateful for all of our patrons, but particularly those at the topmost tiers, those Team Force of Good and Team Force of Evil tiers. And our pledge, along with a lot of other cool benefits, is that folks that support us at that level get their names read out at the end of the show. And we have gamified that. We have created a little moment at the end of every episode where members of our cast will have to read those names in styles that were suggested by patrons themselves. So if you are a patron, be sure to head over and check out the post that's on Patreon asking for great suggestions for this. We've got a number of really cool suggestions, including tonight's suggestion, or suggestions, I should say, which come to us on the Patreon from a number of different folks. Where is it? Where's my list? Here it is.
I do a quick reminder that our next episode is going to be Tuesday of next week at 6 p.m. Pacific on Twitch, same channel. And then we will replay it on Wednesday at 6 p.m. So if you want to see us live, tune in Tuesday at 6 p.m. and then the replay will be on Wednesday.
So how have we decided we're doing that? Are we still rolling dice, or are we just using folks that haven't done it?
Roll
recently?
dice.
Okay.
Yeah, roll the dice.
I thought, it's fun to use folks that
Who's
haven't done it
I
recently.
can't even remember.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you can do that too.
Ron was last week, and I was paired up with him.
I rolled a 6, which is a reroll.
Ron and I were the week before that, so.
Well, you were, and I was paired with you.
That is a 5. So that is Katie Michaels, I believe, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I could partner with someone who hasn't done it recently.
I haven't done it recently.
Yeah, aren't we skipping people until we've all done, or?
I messed it up. I told
Do we have rules for this?
No, there's no rules. There's no rules.
As we go. We're figuring them out as we go. I think the first one is probably a solo, although it could be a duo. You tell me. This was submitted by Amra, and Amra suggested that you do it as a proud parent giving a wedding speech.
Oh, I love that suggestion.
I
This
like
is
it.
Team Force of Good, yeah?
This is Team Force of Good.
Okay,
It could be two parents that are proud.
It could be two
Okay.
parents. You want to do
Like
two
a
parents?
fort.
Go.
Yeah. You can start though, Katie.
Okay. Okay.
Speech.
Speech.
Hello.
Honey, keep it together. Keep it together.
I'm gonna keep it together. I said I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. I cried too much last night.
She always cries.
I don't always cry. I don't always cry.
I love you, honey.
I love you too.
Here's the mic.
Ron. Sorry. Thank you, Amanda. My sweet, sweet Amanda.
We love you.
I love you.
This is Amanda. She's not getting married. This is our other daughter. Okay.
Never gonna get married. She dated one person named Armando 89 and it did not work out well.
Okay, listen.
It did not work out well. I'm just saying it did not work out well.
Let me say that. It was much better than Hadrian X, okay? Okay. Anyway, this is not about you, Amanda. This is about our sweet, sweet Wilbro Jr.
Wilbro Jr. Apple of my eye.
Fan of my
I love you,
Darrell.
Wilbro Sr.
Thank you, son. Thank you.
Oh. All of our children are here tonight, and honestly, that is the greatest gift. So
It is. It is. And our dog, IR Moo Cow. We named him after a cow because he's black, with white spots. But
looks just
that's
like
what
a cow.
happens when you let Amanda name the dog. I mean, she's just
Again, this isn't about you, sweetheart. You're not getting married tonight. It's
even
about me.
even though she's the oldest. Tried to find somebody
is the
for her.
oldest. She
Didn't
is
work
the
out.
oldest, yeah. But not
The
tonight.
Gold family's here. Hey, Gold family. Hey, Gold family. Do you want to date Amanda? Do you have someone that you'd like to date? No?
Okay, Ron.
Well, can everybody date him? Because that's
Okay,
that's confusing.
Okay, No,
Hey,
this
Amanda,
is
why do you
about-
always gotta make it about you?
Wilbro, Wilbro,
Okay.
I paid for your just jewels, so you need to let us
Wilbro
have a moment
Senior,
here.
this isn't about
They
you
look
either.
good.
They do.
Wilbro-
They do.
Your wedding, just jewels. Okay. No, this is about
Cufflinks.
Wilbro Jr., okay? Not Senior.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Now, I remember the first day when we brought Wilbro Jr. home. And he
Yes.
had those little kitty scritches.
Yes. The
Whenever
little
he-
marks on his face.
Yeah. And we thought, uh-oh. But turns out it was just a birthmark that we love now.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
They're
love
his
it
little
now.
whiskers.
It's your little whiskers, and
Yeah.
we're just so proud of how you've embraced them.
Yeah.
Had this beard at birth.
Yeah.
That's why he needs the jewel.
And we were hoping you were a girl.
It's true.
Sorry to
when
let
you
you
came
down.
out,
Mom.
we were like, you know what? The dungeon run, yay!
Yay.
We love surprises.
I love surprises.
Yeah, Rod loves surprises. Oh my gosh.
I do. I
Okay.
do.
Now,
Oh, Brayback,
you-
Brayback, Brack. Be right back. Brayback.
Brave
right,
right back.
now, tiny bladder. Okay. Anyway, when we brought you home and you had your little kitty scritches, and we were so surprised who you were. You know, you did this funny thing when you were a kid, and your sweet cold candor. We love you. Welcome to the family, first and foremost. Okay.
Mwah.
You gotta know, if Wilbur Jr. ever says Bob Harris, just give him some time, okay?
Yeah.
Give him a
That's
little
our code
time.
word. That's our
Just
code
give him
word.
a
It
little
means time out.
Okay, he just
Yeah.
needs a little time.
Yeah.
It's like Bob Harris, it's a timeout, okay? Don't
Yeah.
ask.
happening?
Don't ask.
It was my first art teacher.
Bob Harris, they had a special connection. Listen, art therapy is real. Okay. Oh, geez,
heals.
17. It's already that time. Okay, this speech has gone way long. Amanda,
Yeah.
we made it
We're
all
already-
about you. Okay, you know what? All I want to say, Colt, Wilbur Jr., we hoped that you were going to marry Michelle, but you
We
didn't.
did.
And so this is
Yeah.
the next best thing, and
Yeah.
we're so happy for you.
Yeah. And you know what? You're a special couple, and you're gonna live a very long, happy life. I can tell.
And also, Michelle, thank you for being here.
Yeah. And Amanda, on the other hand, maybe probably not.
Okay.
But that's okay.
I'm,
Not everyone has someone.
Sweetheart, Amanda is driving us home. That's why she's not drinking. Okay.
Oh, right.
I'm literally never going to get married.
Wow. I think that was our longest one by far.
They're getting
I
longer
love-
and longer.
That's great
love
though.
Pretty soon we're gonna do a 4-hour this and
Yeah.
2 minutes of D&D. Okay.
But you
our
gotta say,
next
I love
one.
Braba as a BRB reference.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
that's
it.
pretty funny.
right,
Good.
yeah.
That was good.
I tried to be smooth, but I didn't get it out quite
All right,
right.
we do have
Right,
one
right.
more. This one
Right, bud.
was suggested by a jar full of bees.
Okay.
Ooh.
This is witnesses from a crime drama being interviewed by detectives, and the character that definitely knows who did it but won't rat out their buddies.
Oh no, this is the Law and Order, right?
Okay.
You can't, you know, they definitely know who did it but won't rat them out.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
All
not
right.
talking.
So
All right. All right, listen up.
I'm just the guy carrying boxes in the background for no reason, doing nothing.
Listen. Listen here. I know you're changing boxes in the background.
That's not me. That's your own employee.
Yeah, I've been working here for 2 years. Don't you remember me, Tony?
You heard what happened to that lady down the street last night, right?
Yeah, she was down to clown.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, somebody J-rocked her pretty bad. And we think you know who did it.
The box drops behind you.
Go up and played
Sorry.
loud.
Now, we
Listen.
know that this is the Carson territory. And we know
Whoa,
that you're
whoa,
afraid.
whoa. Okay. I know who you are. I've heard about you. You're Fernando the Jackal, aren't you? Okay? I'm not falling for your tricks. All right?
I got a lot of
I am
names.
Forest Stealth 86 if I say anything. Okay?
Listen, I will make sure. I swear on my mother's mother's mother that you will not get Forest Stealth 86'd. Did you see we had a witness come in last year, and she's living that shiny 8-bit boo life out on Staten Island. She is fine. Because we protected her, and that means you can trust me.
I know you're getting in my head and I want to say something, but I think I'm nuts.
Who did it? Who did it?
It was me.
Oh, I didn't expect that at all. Oh.
You may have,
Yeah,
you
I actually saw her do it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this is a lot easier than I thought. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm just going to handcuff you now.
All right, that's fair.
You may have protected
Half
her,
the
but
force
she'll-
was there.
You may have protected her, but she'll never get married.
Yeah, I'll never get married. It's me, Amanda. I did it.
It's me, Amanda. I did. All right,
Executive producer Dick Wolf.
Do we do it?
Yay.
Okay, so hopefully
So
that is
silly.
Appreciated by the folks
So
that are
silly.
so generous with their contributions to the show and really make the show possible. We like to end the show with a little bit of silly, and we're grateful for you to
Just a
let us
little
do
bit of
that.
silly.
A whole lot of silly.
But we will be back in the land of Thorn next week, Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Although, if you tune in on Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time at twitch.tv/The Dungeon Run, you will also see the show. It just won't be quite as live.
Not quite as live.
Not quite as live. It's still a little
Half-Life.
So, thanks for watching. We'll see you then. Until next time, humankind. Be
both.